Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
It's a house!
Huh?
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
We are all Richard Allen!
1.21 gigawatts!
What the hell is a gigawatt?
I'm not a big fan of his brain.
Gigawatts. Hey, thanks, Leon Littlejohn. Look at that, you guys. 5 new memberships. Yeah, I got this crazy story. Zozo told me about it, I don't know, a couple days ago, or yesterday maybe. I don't remember what day, but you know, it's kind of creepy, really. Strange stuff. Yeah, and I did go. I did do my first adventure into the kayak fishing today. Here, I'll show you the. I have one picture of a fish. There it is. See that? I caught it was like a pound and 1 point something pounds. Look at that! Isn't that cool? Had a motor on it and everything. Man, it was a struggle though. The rudder motor that I bought really didn't work too well. But that fish fought really hard. It was crazy. It was like, no. So it was pretty cool. There you go. Alright. Ugh. It was sunny today too. Man, everybody's all back into the hellos again. Well, I don't know. I don't even know if that picture showed up on the screen. Nobody's commented. I got jumped after work and spent the night in the hospital. What? What are you talking about? You got attacked? What'd they do to you? Yeah, well, it's got pedals on it, and then you can use a motor to go a little bit longer distances, but man, it's not really working that great. I gotta figure something I don't know. It's too complex to try to explain it. But yeah, it looks at Leon said up there that he got right here. Sorry for missing last night. I got jumped after work and spent the night in the hospital with a concussion. Jeez. That's crazy. Well, you guys, this is just like any other show. I know it's not, Coburger or whatever. But if you guys could help support the channel tonight on this live stream, I would appreciate it. It lets me know that it's okay to cover other cases. You know, of course, when I cover these other things, like we've done for years and years and years, we're not just a one-hit wonder. Yeah, people just out there in the public don't want to watch. They're just like, yeah. It's okay, Kohlberger. Okay, forget it. I was hit from behind. Honestly, don't remember much. Wow, what did they take anything from you or? Yeah. Alright, so let's see, what do we got here? Well, why don't we just play the press conference, which is usually just a disaster for me. Whenever it plays, the just, well, you guys have heard the stories in here. My grandson bought one of those motorized kayaks for around 45. Yeah, that's not how much that cost. Mine. Yeah. End up selling it. Yeah, I just bought a motorized rudder and took the rudder off that came with it. But after a while I realized why wouldn't I just want to keep the rudder that was on and just put a trolling motor on the side? And so now I have to have the rudder put back on that I just ripped off because I thought I'd never use it again. You know, it was pretty stupid. So, alright, anyways, here we go. Well, actually there's some articles. Let's do these articles, then, you know, sort of like how it went back in time. So this is the kid right here. His name is CalebQuick, and that's his mom, Stephanie. A mother whose son was shot and killed outside Clovis McDonald is making an impassioned plea to the community to find his killer. 18-year-old CalebQuick was a senior in high school who was just a few weeks from graduation. But there's weird information out there that, like, somehow the school made him take online courses at the end, and perhaps there's some allegations of, you know, sexual assault of some sort. I don't know. That's what they're saying in the online communities, people that are sort of more aware of the situation. Oh, well, I'm glad you're okay there, Leon. Yeah, so there's this whole, let's see, that says, the gunman, described as wearing all black, walked away on foot. Caleb's mom is urging the community to come forward with information. If there's any information anybody has, even if it might look poorly, this is, that's pretty interesting right there, right? If there's any information anybody has, even if it might look poorly on Caleb, you know, I encourage you, it doesn't matter, he's gone. So it might be, you know, somebody out there might know something, that he did something maybe, and then somebody else might be paying retribution, but it's pretty weird story. Oh yeah, so then this is kind of an interesting thing. It says the Clovis teen who was shot and killed Wednesday night was once rescued from an arson fire by a neighbor's labradoodle named Charlie. And then if you go back in time, there's this. So a dog hailed as a hero for alerting his owner to a neighborhood fire. Hey, thanks Jim Lawn. A 2-year-old Australian labradoodle rarely whines or barks. When he does, it gets our attention, says his owner, Chad McCollum. McCollum said it was Charlie's incessant and uncharacteristic barking. This is in May of 2023. Relentlessly, McCollum, and so it just kept barking and barking and barking at 2:45 a.m. McCollum decided to take the dog out to the yard, thinking Charlie might have to relieve himself, but he didn't. The barking got louder and more persistent. I was afraid he was going to wake neighbors, said McCollum, who has 2 children, ages 10 and 13. I was a little frustrated. Charlie refused to come back inside, which was also unusual for him, and he continued barking towards one corner of the yard. McCollum checked out what the dog was fixated on. That's when he saw a faint orange glow and plumes of smoke 2 streets away. On that night, McCollum recalled thinking he brought Charlie inside, put on shoes, and sprinted to the scene. I guess that's just, Oh, that's not right, McCollum recalled thinking. He brought Charlie inside, put on shoes, and sprinted to the scene where he saw a growing blaze. McCollum called 911. I was running back and forth. Oh, cool. This might help out. All right. So now so basically this dog went over and woke up their family, and here's a picture of his family, the dog owner family, and then this is Caleb right here, and then that's the dog, and I think that's Caleb's brother here. I think this might be Caleb's father. Let's see. Yeah, that's Stephen. So this is CalebQuick's father right here. His name is Stephen. And then Caleb on the left, and then Logan, his younger brother. So Caleb, Logan, Stephen. Thanks, Leon Littlejohn. And how about the rest of you guys out there? If you could please help support the channel, keep us going on having a good month. So at the end of the month, we'll have more to be able to give. It also helps support my channel, allows me to keep doing these shows, regardless of what we're covering. It's going to all be the same, though. I do it the same way. All right, so I just noticed something, though. So we have this, and then on Google Earth, it's pretty crazy, because if you look him up, he lives at 580 Everglade, and this is where the neighbor lives. So 2 streets over. I'm almost certain that this is the street. However, there isn't a 580 Everglade. It's 576 and 576, and then 610, 616. There is no 580, and so it's like, okay. And then I looked up, and there is a 580 West Everglade right here. And so, which it's pretty weird. I mean, which one is it? So let's take a look now. Now that we have that image of the actual fire, I have a feeling we could probably come down here and let's see. That looks pretty good, I think. Let's see. There's a basketball hoop, but that I don't really care about that. Okay, well, I mean, that edge of that roof, I don't know. Look at that big space between the house, though. Let me go over to the other one. This is just really bizarre. I've never struggled on a map like this. It's just really weird. But the other 580 looks more like what they're describing here. Let me just take a look at this. I mean, from the... God, look at that. I mean, that looks like the same... That's it. This is the house. It's 580 West. So how does... I mean, that's just... Here's what doesn't make sense, you guys. Let me tell you. So in the article, the guy that owns the dog over here said it's 2 streets away. 1, 2. Okay? However, it isn't. It's 580 West Everglade right over here. So did that guy move too? How crazy is that? Hey, thank you, Richard Watts, M10, and Cheryl Moran. Do you guys get the confusion here? I mean, even in the article, it says he lives 2 streets away and could see the I guess you could call that another 2 streets away, but it's way over there. I mean, it's blocks away. And so when you type in 580 Everglade, it puts you right here, and that would seem to make sense if the dog was right here, right? But then his address is, there's a 580 West Everglade, and there's another guy named Steven that was associated with, I mean, it's just totally crazy, you guys. There's another guy named Steven that, when you look it up, was associated with this address. But this is the one that made sense to me, because I was even looking at it thinking, I think this is related to the fire, these little, this dumpster, etc. You know, like if you go on Google Earth here, this is from, well, let's just go on the map here. If you go back to May of 2023, that might be before the fire. right before the fire, like right at the time. And then if you go one more forward, look, there's all this dumpster clearing out the fire. So I thought, man, that looks like it's more like it. And it turns out it is, right? Because this picture right here absolutely matches the one in the image. Look at that. See? I mean, I don't know if you can see, but there's these little oval shapes up here at the top. Look at that. Right there. Even almost the exact same angle, by the way. And then if you turn and look at that one, you can kind of see, let's see, is there a satellite dish? I know it's hard to see. Oh, then there's the basketball hoop. All right, so even the basketball hoop is there, right? So let's look at it like this. Here we go. See, there you go. There's a basketball hoop in the house. So this is his house here. That's not the other one. Yeah, I know, it's a basketball hoop. I said that. All right, so let's see. I'm going to move the... I'll move this over here. God, that's really weird, though. How would the dog see a house that far away? I mean, that's... Let me measure that. That's a mile. A mile away? It made sense when he saw the glow over here. Like 2 blocks away. Like, oh, yeah. And now it doesn't make sense that neighbor's dog somehow went way over here and rescued these people. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, the person who this is the situation there, though. Arson suspect arrested. An arson suspect has been arrested following a fire in a residential neighborhood near Peach and Shepherd. I guess I could have seen that. Hold on, let's Peach and Shepherd. Peach and Shepherd. Is this even the same guy? For a residential neighborhood near Peach and Shepherd. Okay, I guess it is near there. I mean, geez, why not be a little bit more specific? At 2:45 a.m. on April 28th, a resident was awoken by his barking dog, alerting him to a fire 2 streets away. You hear that? Look at that. Oh yeah, it was just 2 streets away. No, it's not. It's a mile away. When it was here, it made total sense, you guys. I mean, I don't know. That makes me suspicious. I mean, that is ridiculous. So when it was here, and I thought, when you look up 780, watch this. When you type in 580, Everglade Avenue, which is listed and online. Look where it is. Look where it is. Right there. Okay, so then 2 streets away, hey, the dog's barking. But it turns out that it's 580 West Everglade Avenue, which is a mile away right here. So why in the hell, how did the dog 2 streets away start barking? Are you guys as confused as I am on that? That just doesn't make any sense at all. Now, 2 streets away, are you kidding me? Okay, sure, it is 2 streets north, but it's a mile away to the, I don't know. Stuff like that really bothers me. I just I don't get it. I hate when stuff doesn't, like, it doesn't even make sense rationally when you sort of ask yourself questions like, hey Chuck, can you just let me get to the damn story? Okay, I'm just not, I don't want to deal with somebody like you tonight, all right? Anyways, this is back in 2023. Our investigation showed that a suspect known by a family in one of the damaged homes used multiple Molotov cocktails to set the RV on fire, which was parked on the side yard. This is back in the past. This is from 2023. So to get the RV on fire, to set the RV on fire, which was parked on the side yard. The fire grew so quickly that it set fire to the homes on each side of it. It's hard to say, like, okay, did he set fire to the RV to then sort of attack the Quick family? I mean, I don't know. Wednesday afternoon, Clovis police detectives arrested 47-year-old Andrew Doubles of Fresno for multiple felonies, including arson, child endangerment, stalking. So that's sort of interesting. Like, who's he stalking? Is he stalking that house or the house that was next door to it? And possession of a destructive device. Doubles was booked into Fresno County jail. So there you go. See, that's sort of the interesting element right there. Yeah, that might not mean anything. It probably doesn't. But there you go. Hey, someone else gifted 5 memberships, right? Oh, was that Leon Littlejohn? And oh, he did it twice. Well, thanks, Leon Littlejohn. And again, if you're out there and you want to help support the channel, this is a different topic tonight, but I'd like to have the support no matter what we cover. That way, I won't feel like I can't cover other things, all right? That's how I've been feeling lately for some reason. All right, so if you have the ability to, I would appreciate it. Okay, so we have that one, and let me move on to a couple more of these other like stories that were in the news, right? Okay, that was the one about the dog, and then this one here has his dog, or father, excuse me. So it says a growing memorial sat outside the McDonald's on Willow and Nice in Clovis on Friday. It's where 18-year-old CalebQuick's life was taken on Wednesday night. Clovis police say the shooting suspect ran from the scene wearing black hooded sweatshirt. Wow, Cheryl, jeez. Look at that. 20 memberships. I don't think I've only seen that like 1 or 2 other times. So we got Lisbeth PCPB, Eilish De Avalon, Texas Mom PJ, Lori Martin, Jacqueline Ashton, Amanda McMahon, Cassandra P, Cindy L, Diphonic, Amber L, Skinny Bat, Daisy Q, Koya, Lee OCD, Steve Jacobs, Mary Zacharias, Chris Moore, Jessica Donald. I don't think I've ever seen it all in a row like that either, with no comment in between any of those. Thiley Blue, Morning Front 1103, and welcome. And thank you so much, Cheryl. Jeez, it's very kind. Thank you. All right. So, a growing memorial sat outside the McDonald's on Willow and Nice in Clovis. So let me show you where the McDonald's is. This gets really crazy, you guys. I mean, so here's the McDonald's. But you need to have like the backstory and different stuff. So here's the McDonald's right here. Apparently, it's a McDonald's and like another store. I'm not sure, like a Save-On or something where you walk through and you come out. There's 2 different. It doesn't have another name on here though. Weirdly. Huh. But that's the one they have in the image online, and they also said Nice and Willow. So there you go. All right, so we have that. That's the location. That's where the memorial's being set up. And Caleb's friends stopped by with flowers a few miles down the road at Clovis Hills Church. Action News spoke with Caleb's father. The community's support for Caleb has been astonishing. Stephen described his son as a cowboy and a true believer in God. The church was Caleb's home away from home. I think he was 4 years old when he accepted Christ, they said. Stephen says his father's son Caleb was a carbon copy of himself. I wonder if that'll come back to haunt him to say that. They did everything together, from working out to barbecuing. People that knew him knew his soul, knew his heart. He was a protector at heart. You know what he reminds me of is Travis Alexander for some reason. I don't know why. Just Caleb was preparing to take off for the Air Force in June. So, like, Zozo reads around online, and she was saying that a lot of people are commenting that his church, if there's some kind of transgression of some sort often will have them join the military to see if they can get them out of that. And then he was also doing those online courses at his high school, even though he's just about to graduate. So you wonder why the school, or why he's not at the school. Okay. So there might be something associated with that. The rumors are out there. We just don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. Leon Littlejohn, we almost had a true crime story in here. I have a lot of questions, but I never get answers. Ultimately, everyone's got their ultimate judgment, and that's not for me to judge, said Stephen. Now, instead of watching Caleb graduate from high school and fulfill his dreams, they have been spending the week planning his funeral and looking back on his life cut short. Detectives say anyone with information is urged to call the Clovis Police Department. And thanks, Lisa Valenzuela, for the coffee. So, that's an option. Let's see. I think tonight, if we didn't have, this is what I'm saying, you guys. It's like it feels like one of those shows where it's like totally luck, because if it wasn't for Leon Littlejohn and Cheryl Moran, we'd have $12 currently for the entire show. So if you guys are out there and you like the content for me to be able to continue to do these live streams, because people can't always every single night help out all the time like that, so it needs to be sort of more democratic, if you know what I'm saying, as well. Yeah, well, good, Leon. I'm glad. All right, well, here we go. We're going to do the press conference now. This one has a lot of answers and the creepy factor coming in. So here we go.
This is a tragic and senseless act of violence that happened this past Wednesday. And it's truly shaken our community, and I think that's why we have a lot of interest in this case. My thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's affected by the loss of Caleb. To our Clovis community, I just wanted to thank everybody for their patience. People really wanted answers immediately, and we've been really trying to strategize on how much information we put out, because we don't want to affect the case. So, but I do assure the public we've been working on this nonstop since this past Wednesday night. And then lastly, to the Clovis Unified School District, their parents, and the students, I've been in constant communication with the superintendent from the night this incident occurred, and I've spoken to her every day to ensure that the schools are safe, to ensure that our community is safe as we've walked through the last 8 days. So today I'm going to hopefully provide some answers, not a lot to be honest with you, but provide some answers to what has transpired over the last 8 days, and then walk you through the initial call that evening.
Yeah, it's either Leon Littlejohn or Cheryl Moran who got the memberships up there for people.
And then what information I can provide to you at this time. So the initial details of the call last Wednesday evening.
Yeah, Jimmy, we're trying to get to that, okay? Thanks again, though, for jumping in on top of that.
April 23rd at 8:57 p.m., our communications center received a 911 call regarding a male that had been shot in the head at the McDonald's parking lot at 1197 North Willow. To my left is just an aerial photo of that location. Everybody is well aware of where this occurred, but it's at the McDonald's there. The shop and go, it's kind of a combined convenience.
Yeah, we know. Can you let me get through this, you guys?
The caller reported a male dressed in all black had just shot his friend in the head and took off running.
All right, so that's the McDonald's, right? That looks like the exact, this is it, right? I mean, that's the right McDonald's, except there's another store inside of there. And by the way, you guys, let me get through the press conference. You don't need to jump forward and say, hey, look how I knew something. Okay, I know that's what you guys really like to do. Some of the people who show up that are local or have been following it, just let the press conference develop, all right?
Our officers, along with EMS, were dispatched to respond, and the first officer arrived in the area within 1 minute and 18 seconds at 8:59 p.m.
That's really fast.
The initial officer and EMS provided medical attention to the victim before he was transported to a local hospital. Additional officers arrived and started searching for the suspect, who was last seen running west into Fresno carrying a handgun and wearing all black. While searching the area...
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't like when people just jump in with a little sort of half side note thing about something.
We located video evidence showing that the suspect had already fled the scene prior to our officers even arriving. Even though we got there within 2 minutes, in our investigation, quickly we found some video that showed us that the suspect had already left the location. So at that point, we immediately transitioned into canvassing the neighborhood, looking for additional video evidence, what other evidence we could put together, interviewing witnesses at that time. And then our detectives and crime scene personnel were called out and responded to the scene, beginning this investigation that has gone on for the past 8 days. The following information is what I can provide to you based on the last 8 days that we know to be a fact and what we're willing to release at this time. So I'll walk you through that. The victim, CalebQuick, arrived at McDonald's on April 23rd at 8:22 to meet with some friends, and this is just a screenshot inside the shop and go of him walking in. I will tell you the video, I think it's this one, from the shop and go, their surveillance.
So shop and go, I guess.
Meet with some friends, and this is just...
Hold on, let me get the time again.
8 days that we know to be a fact and what we're willing to release at this time. So I'll walk you through that. The victim, CalebQuick, arrived at McDonald's on April 23rd at 8:22 to meet with some friends, and this is just a screenshot inside the shop and go of him walking in. I will tell you the video, I think it's this one, from the shop and go, their surveillance timestamp is off by 12 minutes. So the times that I'm going to provide you are actually the accurate times of 8:22.
Probably.
So just to note that when you guys are looking at this later. The suspect arrived at McDonald's 16 minutes later at 8:38 p.m. and this will be an image of him walking in.
Look at that. I mean, look at the, like, all you see is his nose. So if Dylan Mortensen saw this person, she would say, I saw a nose. That's all I remember, a nose. A nose came in and... I mean, come on. Look at that right there. That's it. That's all she saw right there. Man, it's crazy though. Like this little tiny hole that he's looking through. I don't know how, I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you.
So 1 minute later, after he entered the location at 8:39, the suspect exits back outside the restaurant. And we believe, based on our investigation, the suspect went out into the parking lot, was looking outside and potentially for the car that was going to help him escape after he committed this crime. He stood out there for about 2 minutes and then re-entered the restaurant at 8:41 p.m. He walks back into the restaurant.
Let me hear that part again. I don't remember hearing that. Hold on.
After he entered the location at 8:39, the suspect exits back outside the restaurant. And we believe, based on our investigation, the suspect went out into the parking lot, was looking outside and potentially for the car that was going to help him escape after he committed this crime. He stood out there for about 2 minutes and then re-entered the restaurant at 8:41 p.m. He walks back into the restaurant directly past the victim and sits down inside the restaurant at a table. For the next 13 minutes, the suspect sits at the same table.
I mean, what's weird is this guy, when he sits there, it's just like he doesn't look suspicious at all. I mean,
intently watching the victim across the restaurant. So we're going to show you a short video clip. There's 13 minutes we're not going to show you, but I can tell you for that entire 13 minutes, if you want to just start without starting the video.
That's him right here, look.
So he's sitting.
Look how he just sits
seated
there.
right there. He will not move from that position. I mean, his hands are inside his waistband or inside his front pocket, and he does not move at all for about 13 minutes. What we will show you is the last 45 seconds or so when he does move out.
So for 13 minutes, he just sits
Yeah, I was
still.
gonna show that. So the victim's over here, and then you'll see him during this video clip
That's the
walk
victim.
over here, talk to some people over here. Because this pole's in the way, you're going to see him push out to keep
Or I'll
eye contact with
rewind
him.
it so you can see him pointing.
Where is Mr. Quick?
Yeah, I was going to show that. So the victim's over here, and then you'll see him during this video clip walk over here, talk to some people over here. Because this pole's in the way, you're going to see him push out to keep eye contact with him. And then as soon as they exit here and go out towards the shop and go, he will then get up and quickly follow behind them. So if you want to go ahead and, actually before you play that, I want you guys to look at this, and just based on his dress, his mannerisms you're going to see here, that he had a pre-positioned vehicle outside, that he's completely focused on our victim. It's clear that we can say that this is a targeted,
Obviously, yeah.
pre-planned.
I mean, this is just one of those things that's so obvious. The guy is waiting, watching, and then he follows somebody out.
Act of violence that occurs against our victim, and I think it's pretty easy to surmise that based on this video.
Right. It's hard to tell how old somebody is, when they're wearing that, but the way he's sitting, slouching-ish, does seem like a younger type, I guess, but anybody could. I sit like that. See, look at, he's watching him, and then he pushes out, and you can still see that he's leaving. He's really anxious at this point, ready to follow him out just in case he leaves. And he's looking up there. That's like him up in this area. Those are them hugging whoever his group of friends are. They're hugging. So maybe this is a place where Zozo was saying on the online, they say that they regularly meet church people here, perhaps. And so maybe that's how this person knew that he was going to be there. Because it's pretty weird. He went to
So if you're familiar with this restaurant,
Well-
at that point when they pass through that hallway, it then turns into the shop and go.
because apparently CalebQuick was working at a rodeo earlier, came home, took a shower, whatever, and then went straight to the McDonald's. So how did this person know that he was there? So it would seem like somebody that's aware of things that he would do regularly, or at least knew of the regular meetings that they have there.
So at 8:56 p.m., the suspect follows the victim and his friends exiting the restaurant through the shop and go exit, which is on the south side of this business. And we'll show you the video there here.
Well, that's not. I mean, that's what Zozo was saying online. That there's people that say that he would meet at McDonald's for the church. But I was thinking earlier, before that, even having that bit, like, wow, how did this killer know that he was at the McDonald's? Especially since, I mean, the information coming up is pretty crazy. But watch this right here. I think this is him here.
So Caleb's wearing the white hat, and there's his two friends behind him.
And look, if they even hold the door open
His
for
two
that
friends
guy.
actually hold the door for the suspect as he walks out. So that we have additional video outside. I'm not going to show you that, but I will just explain that as the victim he was walking towards his car. The suspect walks up behind him and to his left, and then shoots him one time in the side of the head. The suspect then ran immediately
Hey, thanks, Mary, for the coffee.
westbound, crossing Willow Avenue into Fresno.
All right, hold on. Let's do this one. So let's see what he's saying.
To his left, and then shoots him one time in the side of the head. The suspect then ran immediately westbound, crossing Willow Avenue into Fresno. We'll show you a map of kind of the direction of travel he left. So we went across Willow up through that house kind of the neighborhood or the front yard of this house, kind of cuts through there and then starts running towards Cross City Church area. Through video surveillance, we were able to confirm the suspect was picked up in the neighborhood west of Willow by a Tesla that was driven by an unknown driver. The Tesla was a 2024.
I'm going to go back. So they have this thing, but they don't show what yard that he's talking about. I mean, why not just draw whatever the hell you're going to be saying?
So we went across Willow up through that house, kind of the neighborhood or the front yard of this house.
What do you mean front yard of what house? What are you talking about? You have this generic arrow going down the street.
House kind of cuts through there and then starts running towards Cross City Church area.
Okay, where's Cross City Church? There it is. I bet it's right here or something. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, there's Cross City Church. So maybe he went through that yard? I don't know. So I was heading towards this area.
Through video surveillance, we were able to confirm the suspect was picked up in the neighborhood west of Willow by a Tesla that was driven by...
Probably not. Or it could be somebody. It's well, I mean, they're saying there are people who are accusing him of inappropriate or like assault with a couple different girls. Okay, we don't know if that's true or not, but even his mom says, "Hey, come forward, even if it's something that doesn't make him look good."
An unknown driver. The Tesla was a 2024 or newer model, white Model 3, similar to this stock.
So somebody was waiting for him, driving a Tesla. So is this guy? I guess this guy looks like he's there intentionally to kill, but could he be a hitman? Because he didn't say a word while he was there. And maybe the person driving the Tesla is the one who hired this person, or there's just two people that are pissed and one of them was the getaway driver. I mean, we don't know. This guy, he obviously went there to kill. It's also interesting that he went inside and just sat there. Why didn't he just wait outside for him to come out? Like why not wait outside and like somewhere? Oh, I think my audio's too loud. That's right, because when I recorded, I boosted it up. There we go. I think that's more normal. Oh, we don't know if he was insane or not.
Photo here, and just
no, I don't think the
for those
Teslas
that
are rude.
I guess are familiar with Teslas, the 2020.
I mean, he parked it kind of away from the building, so it'd be a weird thing to do to have a ruse far away, and then, like, if that was the car that picked him up right outside, and then he switched cars, that would make sense to trick.
Or a newer model, on the back portion here, it actually spells out Tesla versus having the Tesla symbol, so that's why we know it's a 2024 newer.
You'd want people to see him getting into the Tesla.
Black wheels, very similar to this, and everything else was in stock condition, so there's nothing, stickers or tinted windows or anything unique that we could identify it. It was pretty stock condition. So our detectives continue to work this case daily. They went out and re-canvassed this neighborhood or this location during the day, looking for additional evidence. Keep looking for...
It's not his Tesla, though, M10.
Additional surveillance footage.
Or we don't know if it's his or not. He got into a Tesla that somebody else was driving.
In the area, so if anybody now seeing this information could go back and see if they see anything that might help us.
Hey,
they've authored
FSC
multiple
figure
search
skating
warrants, and
coach.
we're still waiting on some search warrants to come.
And hello to M10, Blaze Child, Soli, Leon Littlejohn, Jessica Schubach, Zozo, Duckman, FSC figure skating coach, Uniquely, Susie retired hospice RN. What's up with these long names? FSC figure skating coach, Uniquely, Susie retired hospice RN. Lisa Valenzuela, Lil D, Simpson, R.D. Larry, Joe B. Martin, BMS, Gene Fish. Gene Fish, man, how long have you've been around here for years? It's crazy. All right, here we go.
Back that we hope will provide some positive returns. We're processing physical as well as digital evidence related to this case. We probably interviewed in excess of 50 people involved in this, witnesses and different tips that we've received. We've tracked down and interviewed different people to either call those allegations or theories to debunk them or work through those investigative leads that we've received. And then we just continue to follow up on tips as they come through. So what we're asking for today, and we're kind of at a place.
This is on ABC 30. They had a press conference
where we're waiting for some evidence to come back that's going to take some time. And so we're really asking for the community's help. We have Crime Stoppers here. Crime Stoppers has actually increased the reward in this case to $10,000. And so we really want to push that out to the public and ask for anybody, not to just see somebody walking down the street wearing a black jumpsuit. We've had calls like that 3 or 4 days later. That's not going to help us. We need to,
wow, that's a long time.
If you're involved in this, or if you know somebody that looks similar to this, walks similar to this, that knows somebody that has a Tesla that's a newer model Tesla, and you can kind of put those together, that's the information that we need to help us move forward in this case. So if you can, for Crime Stoppers, 498-STOP, everybody knows that number. We have a lot of young kids that are associated or around this case that happened, a lot of young people that were there. So they also have an option to text. You can text Valley, the word Valley, to 738-477, or you can also go online to valleycrimestoppers.org. And if you don't want to go through Crime Stoppers, but I mean, it's a $10,000 reward, you're anonymous, as long as that information leads to an arrest. If you'd rather call us, you can call our tip line at 324-2459, or you can just call our non-emergency dispatch line as well at 324-2800. That's all I have to provide right now, but I will open up for questions. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to answer, but I'm willing to answer your questions if I
Chief,
can.
there are very serious allegations about the victim circulating online. What has the investigation turned up on that front? Any idea about a possible motive?
That's the thing we've been holding off so long.
By the way, this person here asked some really good questions. This reporter, for once. Hey, thanks, Leon Littlejohn.
Because we don't know the motive. We have
the man whose head is so hard it broke the hand of the person who attacked him last night.
No idea anything about this, so we continue. We see all the same allegations online of theories that people have come up with, and we're looking into every one of those, but we still have no motive at this time.
And on the Tesla, I mean, you know in quite striking detail exactly what type of model it is. How do you know that information?
So we obtained surveillance video.
It does kind of seem like David Clark. Very similar, just sort of like this shooting, kind of weird, just sort of like, what's going on, and nobody seems to know anything. Oh, it was a board? Well, your head was so hard, he hit your head with a board, and it hit himself in the face with it after it hit your head. Okay.
In the area, we're not wanting to show that at this time because we still think there's value into keeping that for the case later. Later on, if that becomes where we need to push that out, we will. But based on that surveillance video that we recovered of the vehicle, we can tell clearly that it is a 2024.
So currently we're at $16 other than Cheryl Moran and Leon Littlejohn. So if you guys are out there and you like the work that I do on this channel, I would appreciate your support and make it so that, it feels lucky. I mean, I appreciate the generosity and everything like that, but it's like, my God, you guys, we can't have nights where it's, just the same people supporting the channel. It'd be great if we had multiple people. So, I know that they like to support my channel, etc., but I would appreciate it if we had sort of a more, like on a nightly basis, a democratic flow to the support. So that way it doesn't feel lucky, you know, like just pure luck. Because I think I do a good job on all these cases and map things out and show you guys. And so it's weird when it seems like the only enthusiasm that some people have is when you're covering the big ones like Koberger, etc.
Or newer Model 3 Tesla.
And you say that there was obviously a getaway driver. Do you have any idea how this suspect arrived at the McDonald's?
On video, we have him arriving, walking eastbound on the south side crosswalk from the side of Fresno on knees, walking across the intersection, already with his hoodie cinched up, just like you saw him there, and walked across in the city of Clovis and into the restaurant. So he came on foot.
Were you able to see a license plate on the Tesla?
No.
And was his face covered, or was his hoodie just cinched up where he could just...
So he had a mask with the hoodie over it cinched up, so
That's
you can
crazy.
really barely see his eyes.
What was he looking at?
And so, to that point, for somebody to be in a restaurant for 13 minutes, when we watch the video, there's many people obviously looking at him as they walk by. A lot of people that we understand during our investigation were actually trying to get photos of him because they were concerned. So I would just tell the public, if you see something that's...
I was wondering if, like, Elon Musk might say, hey, you know, maybe I can help you out. I was thinking that earlier.
Suspicious or out of place, to call
Thank you, Shay 530.
us. This could have changed the whole case. We had an officer at Target literally 2 minutes.
See, this reminds me of Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. I mean, here's this restaurant with this person sitting there not ordering food, staring through a mask. People were like, man, this guy's creepy, but has he really done it? Wait, I don't even know what he's done. So nobody called 911, and they're all young people, you know, likely around the same age as those guys. You know, and it's just the way it is, man. That's how people are. Well, thank you so much. Cheryl Moran. You guys are great. I mean, I really appreciate it, you know, especially, you know, when, you know, people are supporting the channel so much. You know, it feels like I'm doing something good, you know, like worthy. I think you know, we're just starting covering this one. I'm hoping to get more surveillance, and then we can start plotting things out. And, you know, this is the kind of thing where these guys should be putting out way more information than they're doing.
Minutes away, that could have pulled into the parking lot. If somebody was there in a car waiting for him, could have communicated to him that, hey, the cops are here, and left, and maybe it avoided this whole thing from transpiring. Or we could have showed up and tried to deal with it in a different manner. But or if you see that and you don't feel comfortable, then leave. But
right? Yeah. See, the other day, you guys remember? Not the other day, but a few months back when I was over getting my Subaru worked on, and I went to a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and when I was in there, these two people were obviously hiding from the cops. That's what they were doing. I could see them. They ducked their heads when a cop car came by, and I immediately walked outside, called 911, and you know what they did with that, I don't know. But I said, hey, there's these two people that were hiding from cops. And then I ran into this random person. He goes, oh, yeah, well, all the misfits get off at that bus stop right over there. So I don't know that they did anything with it, but there were two of them just sitting in there, and then they weren't buying any food. It was just like this. They kind of had like stuff on where you couldn't really see their face very good. They weren't buying any food. They were just sitting there, but they pretend that they were looking at food. And then when the cop drove by, they ducked. You know, and so that's when you know there's something's going on there.
But that is a very...
So if somebody called the cops early on in this one, they would have walked in, asked the guy some questions, and the shooting wouldn't have happened.
Very strange actions to go on for 13 minutes for somebody to be dressed in that fashion, to concern that many people and nobody call or nobody leave the location. So
you called it targeted, Chief. Is there any threat to the community with this suspect still on the loose?
I can't confidently answer that. I mean, I don't know his motive. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I just know that it was planned. It was obviously targeted towards Caleb, but I don't know what else is there. I don't know the suspect at this point. I don't know any other motives or why this happened, so I can't confidently say yes or no to that question.
And Chief, your department has received its own fair share of criticism. You know, there was obviously great concern in the community, especially from parents at Clovis Unified School District last week. Why hold this press conference now?
Well, we weren't prepared to put the information out. We had many leads that were very promising that we thought were going to potentially make some arrests. The most important thing in this entire investigation is to arrest the person that killed CalebQuick, and that is our number one goal. The pressure from the community, social media is not going to influence how we handle this investigation. Believe me, I've received a number of...
It's got to be a local person, wouldn't you think? I mean, how many Teslas of that make and model are in the area?
Phone calls myself.
I guess if they're sort of like Delphi, they wouldn't have checked that out. Isn't that one of the things that bothers you the most about the Delphi case? That they didn't even check to see how many black Ford Focuses there were? Hello? I mean, that's like 101 stuff, right? And then also, didn't the FBI or some other vehicle expert in that case determine that that was likely a Ford Focus? And then wouldn't you then look at in the community to see any Ford Focuses are, and then look into those people who own them? I don't know, man. To me, that's such a huge clue in that case. And I think they thought that maybe the vehicle was parked at the abandoned CPS building is that black vehicle that was driving by, and maybe they didn't want the person to get rid of it. But here's what would have been cool, is if you'd said, hey, we want to know who the driver of a black Ford Focus was that was parked at the abandoned CPS building, and then monitor what Richard Allen does with his, because he's the only one in the town that has one. See, doesn't that just, like, it just seems, it's not even like Monday morning quarterbacking or, what do you call it, hindsight. It's literally like, okay, I mean, a juror said, how many black Ford Focuses are there? And at the break, they go, oh, there's only one. I mean, that's crazy.
Wanting us to do different things, but we are not going to change what we're going to do. Our number one goal is to capture a killer, and that's what we're going to do. And so, to your question you just asked me is, can I convey to the public that we know that everybody else is safe?
There's no, we don't know how old the shooter is or the driver of the Tesla. We know how old the victim is. He's 18. Thank you, Leon Littlejohn. Thank you up there. So let's see, we've got Braden, Susan, J Funk, Mike K, Sherry W. Welcome.
Today, cannot confidently say that I can't say that anybody else is a potential target. So it makes it very difficult for me to come out day one and start answering questions. And I couldn't even have provided you this, or been willing to provide you this.
But would have being transparent like that with the community, would that have maybe assured them or maybe helped your investigation?
Yeah, maybe, Gene.
I can't go back and surmise what would have happened, but this is how we're handling it now.
And maybe the killer's father is one of the victims of him. Right, so the killer's father may be a victim, and maybe here's a scenario, like what Gene was just saying. It's something I was thinking about earlier. Is, you know, like if it is true that he assaulted a couple of girls in there and he's not paying for it, it could have been that the father who owns a Tesla maybe doesn't live right there in that town either. Who knows? But then maybe hired somebody, brought them over there. He did it. Killed what the hell's his last name? Quick. And then he runs back, gets into that car, and they drive away. I mean, there's a million scenarios you can come up with. Could be the boyfriend of one of the victims, or maybe it has absolutely nothing to do with that, because they're looking into the same rumors, these police are, and they haven't been able to determine what the motive is here. And I guess you wouldn't really know what the motive is until you made an arrest.
This is the third time we've communicated with the public. We've already put out 2 press releases. This is our third release now that we're putting out to the public. And as more information becomes available, that we feel confident that we're...
Yeah, this is like I guess there's some cases like I don't think of it the same way. But the case with that father, remember how he had his son? That was his son had a karate instructor who abducted his son, and then the karate instructor assaulted the son elsewhere, and then the father waited in an airport and then shot the guy right in the head and killed him. And when it went to trial, obviously it's first-degree murder, but he just got 5 years probation because the jury was like, I do the same thing, So there's weird moments like that. Now, in the case of Luigi Mangione, that's totally different. I mean, that wasn't even the insurance company that had anything to do with him. They just want to, he's a hero, he's a hero. He's an idiot. That guy is a psycho, Luigi Mangione. But he's so cute, Gray. I sent him a letter and everything. God, you guys are...
We're able to release without jeopardizing the investigation. We'll do it at that time.
Could you kind of estimate his height from that video?
Yeah, so I did miss...
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like it with the mom, Zozo, with the mom saying something like, even if it's makes him look bad, we want to hear because we want to find the killer.
That last part, I apologize. So the things that we for the tip part, the suspect, what we can put out is it's a light skin.
Wait, what do you mean? I was confronted by a troll this morning asking me why I was... Where was this, Leon Littlejohn? Can I ask you where that was? Yeah, I told you that they do this. Like anybody that supports my channel, there's been, like right now, the channel, I've been doing better lately just because there's, some really generous people, and those are the ones they always target. They don't want me to ever make an income here, and therefore we won't ever be able to do all the stuff we've been doing, funding charities and stuff at the end of the month. They don't want me to be able to do that. That's why I want it to be more democratic, where everybody's supporting the channel all the time, because these people, for some reason, they've been able to do it. They've been able to peel people away, and you see them commenting in different places. It sucks. So I hope you guys that are supportive of my channel do not listen to the nutjob trolls who will try to get a hold of you. And I mean, it's really sad that they do that. Well, you don't want to put that in there, Lisa, because then people will go check that out. So I'm not sure why you typed that in. Let's see. Well, yeah, you're still here, but where was this? What made somebody communicate with you like that? I appreciate that you're still here, but why? Why do they do that? I received a photo? What do you mean? I don't know what that means. Now I'm interested to hear how this was going down. Yeah, it seems like the mom knows why he was doing remote school. You got a phone call at 7 in the morning? What do you mean? What did it say? How did they figure out who you were, by the way? Your name isn't, like, that's not your real name. Maybe Leon is, but the rest of it isn't. Or maybe it is. Is that your full name? Littlejohn? Like Leon Littlejohn? Doesn't seem like that's an actual last name. Littlejohn. Well, watch out, Cheryl. You'll probably get something next. All right, but I hope you guys don't bail. So somebody called you at 7 in the morning. How did they figure out who you were to call you? Okay, now I just want to get this figured out right here. Mm-hmm. What are you talking about, Cindy? Oh, so that is your last name. I see. Okay. Well, I thought maybe it was just like a rhyme, like Leon Little John. Maybe that's what his parents named him. I didn't realize that. So they called you at 7. Can you explain how that went, though? I just want to hear, like, they call, and then what do they say? Oh, it's an old English surname? Okay. I don't know. Interesting. Isn't that amazing? That these people are that sick that they would... and what did they say, by the way? Go ahead. I'm just pausing it because I gotta hear these things. I keep jotting down, because this is where libel actually matters. Because when it starts affecting you, I have to be able to document it. Oh yeah, there's the whole channel that talks about every time there's a moment on my show where I'm saying a certain thing, they jump in and make a video and go, look at this guy, and then thousands of people watch it. It's just, it sucks, you know. Mm-hmm. No, it is what it was about, Stacy, but somebody brought something up in the chat. See, people like you are just disgusting. Get out of here. We've been talking about it the whole night until just now when somebody brought up something that was kind of disturbing. God, just get out of here, Stacy. You sound like a lunatic. Well, there's just a site that always takes clips and they take them out of context, and they, you know, if I'm having a bad day or something, they go, oh, look at this, like it's my whole show, you know. But you guys will go out and look for them now. Thanks, everybody. I was asked. So they just called you and said that on the phone. Oh, no, I read that. I read that part. I saw that part. I thought, I mean, is that all the conversation was? That just that little bit, and then they... God, that's crazy that they would call you up and... Jeez, that's wild. The father that shot him... Shot who, Jimmy? Who are you talking about? All right, hey, let's keep going here.
Hispanic or white male, 5'10" to 6 foot, and the vehicle obviously is a 2024 newer Tesla Model 3 white with black rims is the information that we have right now.
Do you believe that the suspect or the Tesla is still in the area?
I have no idea. We do have some search warrants out that we're waiting on returns on that might answer some of those questions, but as of right now, we don't have any information that we could say positively yes or no.
You mentioned that there was a getaway car
This guy isn't a very confident police chief.
positioned in the parking lot. Do you have an idea of when that car drove away? Because you said he didn't get into the car until, you know, after running several blocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in the heat of what happened, I think he might have got confused, and instead of running to the vehicle, maybe got confused with, there was a lot of people there, a lot of vehicles there, maybe lost where his car was that he was looking for, and then just took off running. So through surveillance video, we can see that vehicle then...
CC is turned on, Callie. You just have to watch it after the show. I don't have it on live because it's like a minute delay between me and you. And I do live streams. I need a communication. All right? So you'll have to wait till the show's over, then CC shows up. On my videos, it always shows up. Okay? So...
is searching for him and then ultimately finds him in a neighborhood and picks him up.
And we're certain that the suspect is male.
We're pretty positive. I mean, I'm 95% sure that he's a male.
And Chief, based on that map, I mean, it seems clear he runs through that intersection, Willow and Nice, I believe. Any cameras there, traffic light cameras that might have provided more surveillance video?
At that intersection, we do not have city surveillance cameras, but we have been, for the last 8 days, canvassing all the businesses, hitting up, canvassing every neighborhood, looking for Ring or whatever other type of version cameras people have on their houses to try to locate additional surveillance video. So now that we're putting out this vehicle information, the timeline, we're hoping that if there's other people that we may have missed in that they could go back and review their cameras and see if they have any motion detections during this time frame to see if they might have some valuable information to provide to us.
Were witnesses able to provide any useful information and maybe who they thought the suspect might have been?
Oh, we've had a lot of useful information that honestly has panned out not to be successful, that we thought was going to lead to an arrest. And so that's what we would think we were going to come out and put something out to the media. Then we would pause because we thought we really were on the right track, and then it didn't work out. So, and that continued for the last 8 days until yesterday. We felt like, hey, we're at a standstill here, waiting on a lot of our physical evidence is being processed at the lab related to DNA, digital evidence, and those things that are going to take some time. And we're at a point where we really need to ask the community for help.
So that's how you're characterizing it, a standstill.
Well,
all right, so we need 10 more memberships. So if the rest of the freaks can help out with the 10 memberships, then I'll donate 5 more, okay? So see if the freaks, the other freaks, other than Leon Littlejohn and Cheryl Moran, they can always help again too, but I'd rather see some of the other freaks. We just need 10 more memberships, and I'd like to see other support from other people, okay? Because tonight's one of those nights that makes me nervous other than, luck. All right? So if you guys have the ability to, we need 10 more channel memberships, and then we will, and I'll donate 5 myself. That way we'll reach the goal.
at this point, yes. Yeah.
And Chief, was this the location?
Well, no, I like your support, Leon Littlejohn. I just want other people to support too, because it feels like it's sustainable. You know what I mean? But you can slow down if you feel like it. If you feel like you're getting pressured from these nut job YouTube people out there on social media, then feel free. If you don't want to support my channel because of the crazy people out there, then then fine. I don't. It's like I can't do anything about it. Hey, thanks, Forgetful Mandy.
Frequented, and who would have known that he was there at that time?
Well, he was going to meet some friends. My understanding is that he did go to this location, meet up with friends on prior occasions.
Yeah, so there it is. That part right there is, I missed that when I was recording it. So look, that's the question right there. Here it is.
Digital evidence and those things that are going to take some.
Thank you, Phyllis Watson and M10.
Time, and we're at a point where we really need to ask the community for help.
So that's how you're characterizing it.
Well, that's true, Leon.
At a standstill.
Well, at this point, yes. Yeah.
And Chief, was this the location that Caleb frequented, and who would have known that he
there
was
you
there?
Go. There you go.
Well, he was going to meet some friends. My understanding is that he did go to this location, meet up with friends on prior occasions, and the reason he was going there that evening was to meet with those 2 friends that you saw him walking out.
Right, so he went there to meet with those 2 friends that night. But was it a regular thing that he would go there with all the other people? Because how did the killer... See, the next question this reporter should say was, well, based on that, how do you think the killer might have known that he was there? Because if he's just there to go there, he's gone there before with his friends. Okay, sure, that's where they meet and stuff like that. Hey, well, thanks again, Leon Littlejohn and Phyllis Watson. So now I'm going to go ahead and do these. And here we go. A second. Shipping it off. And there's the 5 from me. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Really appreciate all you guys' generosity. Makes a big difference. All right. So if this friend, these friends would go there from time to time, how did this killer seem to know that they were going to be there that night? If it isn't some regularly scheduled, because he didn't say it like that, you guys. He didn't say it like that. Let's rewind it back here again.
DNA, digital evidence, and those things that are going to take some time. And we're at a point where we really need to ask the community for help.
So that's how you're characterizing it, a standstill.
Well, at this point, yes. Yeah.
And Chief, was this the location that Caleb frequented, and who would have known that he was there at that time?
Well, he was going to meet some friends. My understanding is that he did go to this location, meet up with friends on prior occasions.
Yeah, so he would go there on prior occasions to meet up with these friends.
And the reason he was going there that evening was to meet with those two friends.
Yeah, so he went there that evening to meet with those two friends. They didn't say that it was like this regular thing that he met up with the whole group. Like, every Monday we meet up at the McDonald's. You know what I mean? So if he wasn't there for a regularly scheduled thing, then this makes it a little more interesting, because then it's like, then how did he know that he was going to be there right then? Because he was sure. This guy was certain he was going to be there. Like, I think he came in after, right? So he was waiting, he saw him go in, and then he goes in, and he sits there and just watches and watches and watching. That's crazy. All right, but here's the thing. Maybe he was there 8 nights in a row. I mean, I guess if I was the cops, I'd look at the surveillance for a few nights. Or somebody would have said it, one of the workers. But maybe he'd been in there other times, lurking, waiting, and watching. And this just happened to be the night that worked. And by the way, you guys, the troll community that I have is based on... I have an ex-mod that is just absolutely a psycho who has... I removed them as a mod because they wanted to be a moderator on another true crime channel. I don't want that, I want my moderators to be on my channel, right? So they want to be a moderator on another channel. I gave her a choice. She didn't do it. So she's just created this whole online hate thing where she just goes on and on and on. And then I don't have the popular opinions in these cases, right? So when I'm covering cases, I go where the facts take you, and a lot of times it's not the popular thing, and these people hate it that we're right here like 99% of the time. They absolutely hate it because they were pushing narratives of conspiracies, and we stick with the facts, and boom, we nail it again. So they get so frustrated and angry that they look for any little thing that I say to dig into and create a big issue at it and try to get people not to watch my channel. Okay, and it just sucks. But if you want a place to go where you have factual information, and we do a lot of great stuff, at the end of the month, we're already at like almost 15,000 given away this year already. 239,000 or whatever the hell we're at now. What are we at? 242,979. Okay. So we're almost at 250,000. All right. So if you want to listen to the nut job trolls, there you go. Well, Vapor, that is why you hate me. Okay. You're an idiot. That's why you hate me. All right. So here we go.
Friends that you saw him walking out with.
Do you know if he followed Caleb to this location at all?
The suspect?
Yes.
Not that we have found any video or anything to corroborate that.
And to that question, I believe the victim's family and pastor had said that he...
Do you know if he followed Caleb to this location at all?
The suspect?
Yes.
Not that we have found any video.
See, that's weird, right? They didn't follow him here. It's almost as if they knew that he was going to be there. How did they know that?
Or anything to corroborate that.
And to that question, I believe the victim's family and pastor had said that he was at the rodeo earlier that evening before going to the McDonald's. Any leads there to see if the suspect might have been there before?
No, we do have him on surveillance video from leaving the rodeo. He was working the shoots with a friend on Wednesday night. We have him on video leaving the rodeo grounds and then going home.
That's right, Cheryl Moran. I want my moderators to want to be moderators here.
And then the timing is so short that he wouldn't have gone anywhere else. Goes home, showers quickly, and then goes to
Isn't that
McDonald's
weird,
to meet with
Zozo?
his friends.
Crazy.
Any reason to believe that this could have been accomplished with the inside help, somebody at the restaurant, somebody like that? I mean, it's quite striking that somebody is able to commit allegedly a crime of that nature and then be on the loose for 8-9 days now.
Well, cool, Dean.
I'm not sure I'm not sure on that question. You're asking if somebody from the restaurant may be involved.
Did he
in
get
this?
help from anybody else? I mean, aside from this getaway driver, any reason to believe he acted alone or with the help of somebody else aside from the getaway driver?
Yeah, we don't have any information that would point us that direction, or even any allegations that I've seen.
Hi, yes, Stephen Sanchez of the Clovis Roundup. Just to remember the number, how many people have you questioned so far?
In excess of 50. I don't have the exact number, but it's...
Hey, well, thanks, Phyllis Watson. I'm glad that there's people like you that see the good that I do. I'm not a perfect person whatsoever, you guys. I have nights where I suck in terms of my attitude and stuff like that. I guess what I would say is, are all of you in great moods every single day? Because I do 7 days a week, 3-hour shows, and some days I'm just in a crappy mood, but I still do the show. And I do get frustrated at times when my channel's not doing well on a particular night, because you get really behind in the month in terms of the goals, etc. And yeah, I mean, that's just the reality. Okay, but imagine every single day if we got to see a little glimpse into your worlds. I mean, I'm sure some of you are happy all the time. I have so much crap going on in my life and have for quite a while, that, you know, on the side with the parents and just everything that I'm still here though. I'm still doing the show. I'm still doing the shows even if I'm in a shitty mood. Sometimes I've stormed off like, this sucks, but I'm back the next night. Okay. So anyways, thank you for the people who've stuck around, because they know that the overall goodness that we do here is good. All right. Hey, look at that. 18 months by Heather. That's a 1.5 years. Very cool.
We've been interviewed and re-interviewed multiple people.
Oh, for sure. And for those people that you've interviewed, do the stories line up to the way how the media first reported the story? Have there been any differences or, any type of turns from the stories that you've been given, or have they all been pretty accurate?
No, I mean, if you guys are watching social media, everybody has a theory. There's a number of them. I'm not going to get into it. You guys can all see that on social media, but there's been a number of allegations on what
that always makes me laugh.
Has led to this.
Hold on, let me rewind it.
And for those people that you've interviewed, do the stories line up to the way how the media first reported the story? Have there been any differences or, any type of turns from the stories that you've been given, or have they all been pretty accurate?
What do you mean stories?
No, I mean, if you guys are watching social media, everybody has a theory. There's a number of them. I'm not going to get into. You guys can all see that on social media, but there's been a number of allegations on what people believe has led to this. We've investigated multiple of those allegations, but we have nothing that would lead us to believe or locate as a suspect or create a motive for us in this case.
And you said that you've investigated the surveillance footage, but you're asking help from the community. Will you release that footage, or has the footage been released so you can get that help from the community that you're looking for?
The only video I'm referring to is the video of the vehicle you just picked up in a neighborhood. I'm not willing to release at this point. I don't think it brings any value to the investigation. It could probably only hurt it for what we're wanting to hold on.
Why? See, that part about the car makes no sense to me. If it looks just like the picture you gave, why do you give a damn? When we can watch the guy get in, maybe somebody will notice something. See, it almost feels like these people often they don't want to share it enough because they don't want somebody else solving or figuring something else out. For example, again, the black Ford Focus, I mean, my God, somebody would have said, oh, holy crap, and I bet you somebody in Delphi, a YouTuber even, somebody, would have looked at that vehicle and drove around and tried to find one that matched that vehicle. in the town and said, hey, have you looked at this guy? I don't know, man. I think you got to utilize law enforcement. There's some people that get it. I've talked to some investigators that have said, I think it was one of the cold cases that I looked into. I called one of the detectives, and one of them said, I used to not. Oh yeah, I think it was some New Mexico, like some unidentified body, and the guy said, yeah, man, social media, I used to never use that. I thought it was just a waste of time, but we've learned that it really helps a lot generating leads, and people actually give us information that's actionable. And it's just so bizarre that they just like to keep it and just sort of keep it, and just, you don't share it because Gray, you just don't understand the tactics that they're trying. What tactics? Just share more information and get the damn answer. I don't know, man. If I was these guys, I would share every second of video they have and blur out the parts that are disturbing, and give out every single bit of surveillance they've got, and get this thing huge, because the surveillance footage is what makes cases big on the internet. People will be going, ooh, look at that, ooh, check it out. And you'd get so many more people looking into it, and somebody will say the wrong thing to somebody, and boom, everybody will be aware of it. That's just how it works, man. That's how it works.
Has the footage been released so you can get that help from the community that you're looking for?
The only video I'm referring to is the video of the vehicle he was picked up in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to release at this point. I don't think it brings any value.
Okay, but we don't care if you think it brings any value. The value is it makes people more interested. That's what the value is.
To the investigation, it could probably only hurt it for what.
No, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to hurt.
And really, it'll really pinpoint a location in a neighborhood and potentially a person that provided us that information. And I'm not willing. I want people to be willing to come forward and assist us in this.
Okay, that part I can somewhat buy. That you don't want people driving around sort of like I did when I went to Idaho, and I'm going right where the surveillance camera is. But I guess that's what people do. Nobody's thinking you're the killer. We just want to see the location somebody was driving.
Investigation, if they have video, feel comfortable that they can provide it to us, and then we're not going to go post it online, and then people are going to basically know who that person is. I'm not comfortable with doing that, and I think it would discourage more people from providing us valuable information that could help us solve this case.
And from what you've seen from the footage and everything, was there any type of reason to suspect that maybe possibly, obviously the outcome is tragic though, but was there anything that prompted that type of action? Like, was there any relations between the victim and the suspect, or did the victim do anything to warrant that type of response? I mean, what have you seen in terms of it being the result that it is?
Everything I've showed you here today is any interaction with the victim and suspect where they've been in the same location. There's nothing. We have no video surveillance of any prior interactions, any fights that happened prior to that evening, or anything like that that would lead to this. Everything that we provided you is what we have. Their interactions. They don't talk. They don't say anything. He came there with a purpose, at least in my opinion, based on looking at the video. And without knowing who the suspect is, it really makes it difficult to answer those questions.
Chief, have you gone back in Caleb's life for the last 6 months maybe to see if he has had any interactions or, with someone?
Yeah, we're working. Chief Lee Mayberry is the chief for Clovis Unified School Police. Our detectives in constant contact with the school police department, kind of going back and seeing, over the last 6 months to a year, is there any kids that he's had issues with? Obviously talking to his parents, his friends, to see if there's any issues or something that happened within days or hours that could have created this. And everything I've showed you here today is any interaction with the victim and suspect where they've been in the same location. There's nothing. We have no video surveillance of any prior interactions, any fights that happened prior to that evening, or anything like that would lead to this. Everything that we provided you is what we have. Their interactions. They don't talk. They don't say anything. He came there with a purpose, at least in my opinion, based on looking at the video. And without knowing who the suspect is, it really makes it difficult to answer those questions.
Chief, Gone back in Caleb's life for the last 6 months maybe to see if he has had any interactions or, with someone?
Yeah, we're working. Chief Lee Mayberry is the chief for Clovis Unified School Police. We've been, our detectives in constant.
I don't know. It could be over a girl, but, why is there a pickup vehicle and a Tesla pickup vehicle somewhere else? I could see if it was just a kid that was pissed off about a girl. I think there's more to it than just, he likes somebody I like, so I'm going to shoot. That doesn't make a lot of sense. To me, it makes more sense that, it could be about a girl, but it's a bigger issue because you have two people that were willing to do this. So what does that tell you?
In contact with the school police department, kind of going back and seeing, over the last 6 months.
Right, I totally agree. I think this guy isn't very confident. He's not really, it's almost like he's never given a press conference before. Probably, like you said, there's hardly ever crime there.
To hear, is there any kids that he's had issues with? Obviously talking to his parents, his friends, to see if there's any issues or something that happened within days or hours.
Yeah, I don't agree with what Rainy Joe's typing in there.
That could have created this, and we're not receiving any information that would help the investigation at this point.
You did mention his parents being helpful at this time?
Yeah, so Zozo's saying it seems that online they know that a girl was 12 years old. So is this something that just recently happened, or was he younger too? Assuming the people saying that, no. So there's people that seem to know an age, so, maybe that means something. No, I mean, it might be about a girl, but I think there's something much bigger here. Because the person in there, how about this? I'll do a poll question. Let's see. All right. So there you go. Is the shooter the person wronged? Are they the one that has the grievance? That's really what I'm saying. So I think it's possible the one driving the Tesla does, and this guy was merely paid money to do what he did. Because this guy waited, watched, covered themselves, went out, came from behind on the left and shot him in the head and took off and never said a word. I mean, it's almost exactly like how a hitman would do something, right? Pretty weird. But it could just be, like, let's say one friend had let's just use Zozo's theory. One friend had a sister that was assaulted by this guy and then elicited one of his friends to go do this. And they talked about it and planned it. And maybe that friend is friends with two of Caleb's friends or something and somehow knew that they were going to be there that night. Something like that, but, it seemed innocuous at the time and still seems that way to the friends, so they haven't brought it up to the cops yet. But maybe they'd say, well, I did talk to so-and-so. So there you go. That's a theory right there. I don't know. Ezzy, the one that feels like, do you think that the one that's shooting is the person? Obviously, if this is a targeted attack, somebody feels wronged. Is the shooter the one that feels wronged, or is he acting on behalf of somebody else? I don't know. We don't have enough facts in the case to really, but if you use some of the stuff that Zozo's typing in, you might be able to kind of correlate that. Right, there's no excuse for the guy. I don't even, even if it's hard to say. Like, if the shooter is not the family member of the victim, then there's no justification whatsoever. If you were a family member of a person that was assaulted or something like that, you can understand somebody acting out, even though it's not right to kill somebody over that, right? Although, is it? I mean, you know, that's the thing, is like, if your daughter was assaulted by somebody and they got away with it scot-free, you know, there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't just let that be. Right? I mean, that is the truth. That is how people are.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We're in communication with them. I would say, I don't see any of my detectives in here, but I'd say on
I don't
a daily
know.
basis,
This guy's a religious.
Is there any reason to
I
believe
think drugs were involved.
the suspect was a student?
I can't say. I mean, yeah, we don't.
It'll be
based on
interesting to see what the
you're
final
seeing
answer
there,
is. I'm just coming up with I'm just using the elements of the case. You've got a Tesla that's parked somewhere else, and that's the same vehicle that dropped him off. He somehow knew that they were in there. He's sitting there calmly waiting. At first I thought I thought differently about him, but then rewatching it, he's just calmly waiting. He didn't allow anybody to see who he was. Then he followed them out, followed Caleb to his car, and then from behind shot him, and then ran off and got back into the Tesla and drove away. So looking at it like that, it seems like the person that, you know, this was planned out, and so the person who shot, you know, he seemed kind of casually sitting there. Now that I look at it, was he really? But he did have his eyes focused in on them, so he could be somebody that's really angry at him. However, it also, you know, you can't see his face or anything, so he could just be somebody that's there to accomplish the goal of killing him, and the driver of the Tesla is actually the person who has the grievance with Caleb. Right? See what I'm saying? I'm just trying to work through with the elements that we've got. I mean, why would there be another person? Like, let's say the shooter is the person who's angry. You know, why would you have this Tesla guy driving you around? You would just kind of, you know, or at least that person would be part of it. I don't know if many people would go, yeah, let me be the driver so I can also get life in prison. So it seems like, you know, it could be two family members. One's the older, and the other one's the son. I mean, the thing that makes the most sense is that he did try to assault somebody, and this is retribution for that. But hey, guys, if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
We can't tell his age, or could he be, you know, recent graduate, likely, or could he have been a current student? Yes. We've had information from a 16-year-old all the way up to somebody in the early 20s. So really, at this point, we don't have that information.
And were there any fingerprints?
It's interesting that earlier he said they were about to make an arrest in the case at one point, but then that didn't pan out. Like, they really felt like they were onto something. So you wonder, what was that they were at a point where they were kind of certain.
Anywhere.
There's some DNA swabs we did at McDonald's for potential touch DNA. We've located another piece of evidence that we're testing for DNA. So, but that stuff takes. I wish it happened like on TV, where, you know, 10 minutes later we get the match and we could go find them. But we're looking at, you know, 2 to 3 weeks on the
hey,
lab
lanky
results for
tour,
that to
what's
see
going
if we
on?
get a match. So that's why we're kind of at a spot where waiting for information on search warrants that could take up to 30 days. We're waiting on lab results. So instead of waiting for that information, we're coming out and saying, here's what we have to this point. Is there anybody out there that has information? $10,000 is available for somebody that can just lead us in the right direction and help us get it.
Where one of the rumors is he robbed the dope man connection? What does that even mean? Robbed the dope man connection. I don't understand this sentence. Yeah. Can you explain that better? I don't know what robbed the dope man connection. So he stole money from somebody selling dope? Or he stole the dope? That, you know what? I always I almost always throw out the drug thing because people just throw that out there every time. It's almost the first thought everybody has. The drug connect. And what's weird is those are almost never the reason. I mean, like, I'd say 90% of the time. Oh, like in the Idaho 4, it was a drug connection guy. It was a cartel hit, you guys. And it just goes on and on and on. It's it's almost like an easy out for somebody. Now, I'm not saying it's not the case, because I don't even know anything about this Caleb guy. He could just be like this fake goody two-shoes, obviously, because there's these other stories. But if you read his obituary, my God, he looked like he'd be the next pope. I mean, it was unbelievable. He's one of the greatest people in the world. Let's see, what does it say right here? There he is. Caleb's bond with his younger brother Logan was unlike any other. From the very beginning, he was Logan's fiercest protector and the only one who could make him laugh as a baby, a gift that continued to brighten their lives through the years. His laughter, kindness, and gentle spirit touched everyone he met. Caleb is loving, survived by his mother, Stephanie, and it goes on and on. And I mean, up here, it's like, the thing about joining the military, that was one of the ones that I think Zozo said that in the comments that his church would have people do if they were doing some transgressions. Anyways, of course your own family's going to say that. What are you going to type in there? Our son was an absolute ass. What he did was nobody does that in eulogies, right? Right. The hit, the Tesla, I could see it might be drugs. Really? Like, you think that like drug people drive Tesla like a crappy Tesla? I mean, that's one of the low end Tesla types. It's not like I don't know. You know what? It can be anything, you guys. Maybe you guys could be right. I'm just trying to base it on, it's a hit. Why, the drug angle. Caleb doesn't. I mean, does he seem like a drug person? Honestly, it seems like he's a normal, like a church person, but he's done some bad things. But is that drugs or is it? Hey, cool, Moofies. I spent the night in the hospital with a concussion after getting attacked. Yep, that's crazy.
An arrest in this case, so we're hoping that would entice to get some more tips coming in.
So from the time that the suspect entered the McDonald's to the time that he pulled the trigger, he never said not one word.
No word. Nothing.
Not even when
that's
he
crazy, right?
Caleb, nothing.
No.
See, wouldn't you think if that person was the wronged person, just throwing it out there, wouldn't he say something as he's shooting? Especially it sounds like he and Caleb, not Caleb, Caleb was sort of by himself at his car or something. Wouldn't he just say something now? You would think. Kind of sort of like the, that one at the garage sale in Texas, that late Tomball, Texas. I forgot her name, but she was out doing a garage sale, and the guy shows up wearing the boots and the wig, and it's a guy, and he says something to this lady and then shoots her and then walks away. That person said something, whether it was the right person or not, etc. And maybe he did say something outside, and there's no audio to pick it up. Don't know.
These things don't happen very often. And in Clovis, what do you make of that?
I hope that continues. Our number one goal is to keep our community safe. When I got the phone call and ultimately when I saw the video, how it transpired, I was shocked. Like, this doesn't happen in our city, and I don't want it to become a common occurrence. And that's why every detective that we have, this is the sole thing they're working on right now. Everything else is taking a back seat, and this is our focus. And I think if you go back in our history, we have a very good track record of solving.
Well, I didn't agree with you, Rainy Joe. I don't agree that it was, what was it up there? Hell, I can't remember. Oh, yeah. That was way up there. I can't find it, but it was something about how it's... Oh, shit. What was it? Now I have to go find it. Oh, wait. There, was that it? It was probably over a girl or something stupid. Teenagers do stupid things. I think it's higher level than that. But, you know, you never know. But if it was a teenager, if it was over a girl and teenager doing stupid things, wouldn't it be by himself, not some getaway driver in a Tesla somewhere else? That's what I was thinking. Rainy Joe. Come on.
Solving homicides. We have, I think in the last, don't quote me on this, probably in the last 50 to 60 years, there's only probably 2 homicides we have not solved.
Hey, thanks, Lanky Tor.
And
wow,
our goal is
thank
to
you.
get this solved as quick as possible.
And the death of a teen, especially in tragic, nature like this, how does that make you feel as chief?
Say again, I'm sorry?
Just the tragic nature of this, the death of a teen, how does that make you feel?
It's horrifying. I mean, I have a kid that is attending high school right now that actually goes to that McDonald's. I know that a lot of kids that were there were from local church groups that were at Cross City or Clovis.
Okay, so that's interesting, right? So a lot of kids that were there were from a local church group. And that's what Caleb is in. So was that a normal night showing? If not, and it was sort of like they all planned it that night, then somebody in that crowd may have told the wrong person that they were all meeting up there that night. Because if it wasn't a regularly scheduled night.
A kid that is attending high school right now that actually
Thanks,
goes
Leon
to that
Littlejohn.
McDonald's. I know that a lot of kids that were there were from local church groups that were at Cross City or Clovis Hills, and they come there and meet after. My kid goes to a local church and has been at that McDonald's after their church group, so it's.
No, well, the thing is, Rainy Joe, you could be right. I'm just saying I disagree. I think, like, if I was going to weigh this out, it seems like it's going to be one of those things that the rumor stuff that's online. But at this point, it could be anything because we don't have enough information. I'm just trying to. What seems the most logical based on the information? That's it. Thank you, Leon Littlejohn.
I think every parent or every community member, even if you don't have a young kid, should be concerned with violence occurring like that in our city. It's not acceptable. No crime's acceptable, but definitely a cold-blooded, targeted homicide that occurred in a well-populated area is not acceptable. And we're going to do everything we can to solve this case.
What message do you have for the parents just to make them feel more at ease at this time right now?
I just convey that, like I said earlier, our condolences, my prayers to them. I know they're going through a lot right now, but I want them to understand that we are doing everything we can. If I'm not out here every day giving you guys an update to the press, it's because we want to protect and make sure this comes to a successful conclusion.
Thanks, Alley Cake. I think that's Alley Cake. I don't know. I think so. For the Venmo, is that you? Or?
And it's packaged up, ready for the DA to that holds up in court. So that's our number one goal. For them is it's not going to bring back Caleb, but we're going to do everything we can to bring justice.
It's in California.
Bring somebody into custody for this.
What about just the community in general, meaning
I have it.
other parents?
So
it's right here. Look, it's so here's that's the Cross Christian Church where he had his no, that's the church where the killer went towards. That's not even related. I think I have it up here. There it is, right here. The service was at this church right here, which I would imagine would be his church, right? The Clovis Hills North Campus. So here's Clovis Hills. That's the church right there. And so, Clovis doesn't seem to be a very big city. What is it, 30,000 people maybe?
So we're not only working this case, but I mean, we want the community to know that we're still out there patrolling. We're doing everything we can to make sure people feel safe in our community. You know, I think...
Yeah, you guys should follow me on Twitter, because I do, a lot of times I post my videos on there and sometimes live stream, so at least if you don't get notified by YouTube, you're on Twitter, and sometimes I'm arguing with the trolls out there. Not as much as I could, I just, you know. I can tell you this, when the Koberger trials happens, there's going to be a lot of these people that look like absolute idiots. Okay, and it won't be us, I can tell you that.
People should feel proud that when this call happened, that our officers arrived there in less than a minute and 18 seconds from the call coming out. We pride ourselves on emergency calls being there in less than 5 minutes, and typically in the last, I'd say 5 years, it's probably been 3.5 minutes.
Oh, YouTube social media. So you're here.
It's from an emergency call that we're arriving on scene. So our community should not feel unsafe. Can we prevent something like this from happening? It's pretty tough when somebody...
Oh, they do already look like idiots, but they're going to know it.
And that's why I would ask from our community. We have great community support. Is if you see something that's odd and concerning to you,
say something.
Please call us. Let us go in and try to deal with that situation. If it turns out to be nothing, it's nothing. But to allow that to occur when everybody in that restaurant...
I totally agree with that sentiment right there.
I was probably concerned about the person.
Yeah. Not one
without
person
calling us or even exiting the restaurant is concerning.
Do you have a caliber gun that was used at any point?
We do not at this time.
That's complete crap. You don't think 8 days later they know the caliber of the bullet that hit him in the head?
Shell casings or...
I'm not going to release that this time.
Right now, during this investigation, is the police department categorizing this as a random act of violence at the moment?
Say again?
Is the Clovis Police Department categorizing this crime as a random act of violence?
No, they're quite opposite. There's a pre-planned...
Random act? Are you kidding?
Planned targeted murder is the way we're categorizing this.
Yeah, sure. And is the police department and the Clovis Unified School District doing anything...
Yeah, none of this next stuff is interesting. Let's watch this part again.
The suspect arrived at McDonald's 16 minutes later at 8:38 p.m. and this will be a...
see, isn't that crazy? So this guy got here 16 minutes after Caleb got there. So did somebody make a phone call inside of McDonald's to let somebody else know that he's there? And it took them that long. Okay, let's go. Come on, hurry up. And, it took 16 minutes for them to get there. He obviously wasn't following him. Wow. Thank you so much, Cheryl Moran. All right. That's just so kind. Thank you. 10 more memberships we got. LJD3, Kelovska, Daniel Baker, Wiley Cat, The Real Bipolar Blogger, Pittsburgh Nurse, Danielle DeMello, Ulysses Sanchez, Brittany Bowling. Oh, and there's Leon Littlejohn again. Well, thank you, guys. So, every time you listen to this, you hear something different. So, he came here 16 minutes after. So, I guess we could say at 8, he got there, at 8:22, Caleb arrives at McDonald's. And then it would be 8:38 p.m. The shooter arrives at McDonald's. All right, there we go.
Of him walking in.
Welcome, Stacy Cole, Heartland Honey, Brittany Polo, Rosa.
So 1 minute later, after he entered the location at 8:39, the suspect exits back outside the restaurant.
Oh, so he did. Wow, it was 8:38. Okay. I don't know. I should have just listened.
A minute later, after he entered the location at 8:39, the suspect exits back outside the restaurant. And we believe, based on our investigation, the suspect went out into the parking lot, was looking outside and potentially for the car that was going to help him escape after he committed this crime.
So why would he do that, though? So here's what it might be. Here's what it might be. I think when he went inside, he went in and saw that Caleb was there and went outside, and that was their signal to say, yes, he's here, and then the car will be at a pre-designated spot after the shooting. So he goes inside, he sees Caleb sitting there, and maybe there was some word that they were there, but he wanted to make sure, and he goes, well, you need to make sure, but don't use your phone. This guy does not have a phone on him right here, I guarantee it. So he walks in here, and he sees Caleb, and then 1 minute later he walks back outside, so that and I bet you the Tesla is sort of out on the street somewhere, and it was a signal to say, yes, he's in here, and then he goes back inside, and then the Tesla goes to a pre-planned place that they'd already talked about. That's why he was able, when he left, to run to where that was going to be. What do you think of that? I think that kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Out there for about 2 minutes and then re-entered the restaurant at 8:41 p.m.
Okay,
he walks back.
So 8:41. Let me put that in there. So 8:41 walks back into restaurant. Shooter. Because why would you do that? Think about that for a second. Why would you need to go back out to look for the car that... I mean, it just doesn't really make any sense, right? Obviously, the Tesla dropped him off in the area. So he goes inside, and then the only reason he would go outside would be for a signal or something. Because how did he know to when he left to go run to a neighborhood and get into the Tesla? So obviously, he walks outside and goes, okay, now, basically what he's saying is, now move the Tesla to our prearranged spot because he's here and I'm going to do what we plan to do. And then he shoots him, he runs over to the Tesla, because if he's out, why would he be out there looking for the car like the cops saying? I think it was a signal. I'm just throwing it out there. No, why didn't the killer just wait in the parking lot and do this? It's weird. Maybe he felt like from behind it'd be easier. Out there he might have spotted him coming up, but he's behind Caleb in this one. It might be hard to get behind somebody out in the parking lot, without being seen first. I guess what we could do is look at the... So they were obviously coming out to the back. That's where you would park. So probably came out that door maybe, and then gets shot right out here. That's 2007. That street view right there. I think he just went to his own car and he followed him to his own car and shot him. And then those friends aren't going to chase after a guy with a gun. Nobody does that. I would, Gray. I really would.
Back into the restaurant, directly past the victim, and sits down inside the restaurant at a table. For the next 13 minutes, the suspect sits at the same table, intently watching the victim across the restaurant.
Well, if he wasn't dropped off, how did he know to run to a neighborhood and get into the Tesla? So he just walked 10 miles or wherever he came from, and then he drove away? I don't know. I think he got dropped off somewhere, walked over there, then the Tesla maybe was on the road waiting for a signal that he was there, because, look, hey, here's what the deal is. I think the Tesla... If he wasn't there, he just would have got picked up again and drove away. He just would have pulled into the McDonald's. He would have got in and drove away. But because Caleb was in there, now the Tesla takes off, and maybe the Tesla's across, somewhere not right there, but could see. And then if Caleb was in there or not there, the Tesla just would have came over and picked him up, and they would have left. But there was a signal of some sort when he goes out, and then the Tesla goes to the pre-arranged spot, so that after the shooting, he can run down the street and get into that car. That's just my, my logic. Might be completely wrong. I'm just saying.
So we're going to show you a short video.
Yeah, I think he was shot when he was by himself. I think he got there in his own vehicle, and then the other people probably went to theirs, and then he followed him to his from behind him and then shot him. That's how I interpreted it.
Video clip. There's 13 minutes we're not going to show you, but I can tell you for that entire 13 minutes, if you want to just start without starting the video.
No, the door's over here. And by the way, the door doesn't go outside. It goes into that other store, and then that store goes outside.
So he's seated right there. He will not move.
That's
from
where
that
Caleb
position.
is right over there.
I mean, his hands are inside his waistband.
I think
or
this
inside
is
his
Caleb
front
right
pocket.
here, this person.
And he does not move at all for about 13 minutes. What we will show you is the last 45 seconds or so when he does move out.
Where is Mr. Quick?
Yeah, I was going to show you that. So the victim's over here. And then you'll see him during this video clip walk over.
Yeah, but why would he care that there was no cops there? He hadn't committed a crime yet. If a cops had came in, he just would have left. If cops had been called to him, I guess if he has a gun, they'd be checking him and stuff. But they don't have a right to check you just because you look funny. They might go, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And you go, "Oh, I was just waiting for some friends. I was going to order something." You know what I mean?
Over here, talk to some people.
The door's over here, and then when Caleb walks out, he slides back in his chair to keep watching to see if he's leaving yet.
Pulls in the way, you're going to see him push out
Right.
to keep eye contact with him. And then as soon as they exit here and go out towards the shop and go, he will then get up and quickly follow behind.
So it's not really a door right over there.
Actually, before you play that.
So there's no exit in here. It's like you walk over here and you turn to the right, and then you go into the shop and go or something, and then that has the door that goes outside.
Before you play that, so I want you guys to look at this, and just based on his dress, his mannerisms, you're going to see here.
That's right.
That he had a pre-positioned vehicle outside.
They're going to come up with a new Avengers or whatever. Avengers, right? It'll be the Unibrow, Koberger, and this killer, the Nose. The Nose and the Eyebrow. Episode 3. What are we going to put in the third one?
That he's completely focused on our victim. It's
They'll
clear that we can say that this is
Mick Jagger lips or something,
the targeted, pre-planned act of violence that occurs against our victim, and I think it's pretty easy to surmise that based on this video.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at this creepy. Look at this. I mean, my God. Just. Okay, now he's backing up because he's walking over here. See, there they are. And he wants to make sure he can still see them. And he wants to make sure he's going to catch them if they're leaving. Because they could have just sat back down again. See, they're shaking everybody's hands from the church. So maybe this is like a church event, like a media. Look, and now he goes, oh, they're leaving. So now he's like, oh, shit. So he follows them around. And then there's more video
So if you're
coming.
familiar with this restaurant, at that point when they pass through that hallway, then turns into the shop and go. So at 8:56 p.m., the suspect follows the victim and his friends exiting the restaurant through the shop and go exit, which is on the south side of this business. And we'll show you the video there here. So Caleb's wearing the white hat, and there's his two friends behind him.
Right.
And his two friends actually hold the door for the suspect as he walks out. So that we have additional video outside. I'm not going to show you that.
Yeah.
But
You want to hear the logic of a pro burger? They would say, "Oh, those friends are sus. What kind of a friend holds a door open for a shooter? Oh, they're sus." Well, they didn't know he was a shooter at the time, you nut job.
We'll just explain that. As
Not
the
that you
victim walks,
know,
he's
Ray.
walking
Maybe
towards
they
his car.
did, though.
The suspect walks up behind him and to his left, and then shoots him one time in the side of the
Like
head.
this is an execution.
The suspect then ran immediately westbound, crossing Willow Avenue into Fresno.
So I guess the city of Fresno is right here, right when you pass Willow. So he came running out of here, and then down here, and then they say something about running across a yard, but we don't know what the hell they're talking about because their chart doesn't do that.
We'll show you a map of kind of the direction of travel he left. So we went across Willow, up through that house, kind of the neighborhood, or the front yard of this house.
What
He
house?
cuts through there and then starts running
He cuts through the
towards-
front yard of what house? Why didn't you draw the... You mean like right here? Okay, is that the front yard? So he goes like this and then cuts across that front yard. I'm just guessing at what he's saying. So he comes around this corner and cuts across that. Well, what does he do? Jump over a fence? Or does he? I think he would go around that and go through that yard, wouldn't he?
Across City Church area. Through video surveillance, we were able to confirm the suspect was picked up in the neighborhood west of Willow by a Tesla.
Right, there's no
That
crime.
was driven by an unknown driver. The Tesla was
How do we know that guy's the shooter, huh? I mean, what proof is there? Like DM said, there's no crime going to McDonald's. I mean, that's just a guy sitting there. I've looked like that before when I've gone to McDonald's, you know? What's wrong with wearing a hoodie at a McDonald's? What are you guys out there? That's the logic the pro burgers use. Okay, but great.
was a 2024 or newer model, white Model 3. Similar to this stock photo here. And
The setup.
For those that I guess are familiar with Teslas, the 2024 and newer model, on the back portion here, it actually spells out
Wait, let me hear this again. Hold on.
house, kind of the neighborhood or the front yard of this house.
What
Kind of
house?
cuts through there and then starts running towards Cross City Church area. Through video surveillance, we were able to confirm the suspect was picked up in the neighborhood west of Willow by a Tesla that was driven by an unknown driver. The Tesla was a 2024 or newer model, white Model 3. Similar to this stock photo here. And just for those that I guess are familiar with Teslas, the 2024 and newer model, on the back portion here, it actually spells out Tesla versus having the Tesla symbol. So that's why we know it's a 2024 newer. It had black wheels very similar to this, and everything else was in stock condition. So there's nothing, stickers or your tinted windows or anything unique that we could identify.
I'm going with cartels,
for stock
everybody.
condition. So our detectives continue to work this case daily. They went out and re-canvassed this neighborhood or this location during the day, looking for additional evidence. Keep looking for additional surveillance footage in the area. So if anybody now seeing this information can go back and see if they see anything that might help us. They've authored multiple search warrants, and we're still waiting on some search warrants to come back that we hope will provide some positive returns. We're processing physical as well as digital evidence related to this case. We probably interviewed in excess of 50 people involved in this, witnesses and different tips that we've received. We've tracked down and interviewed different people to either call those allegations or theories to debunk them or work through those investigative leads that we've received. And then we just continue to follow up on tips as they come through. So what we're asking for today, and we're kind of at a place where we're waiting for some evidence to come back that's going to take some time. And so we're really asking for the community's help. We have Crime Stoppers here.
You know, it's just still kind of strange, that whole thing about, okay, the neighbor incident. It's bugging me a lot. Because this neighbor, and if you type in 580 Everglade, it puts you right there. And in the articles, I was like, oh shit, that makes sense. But then I looked at the house numbers, and it's 576, 610. There isn't a 580. So then I went on Google and I said 580 Everglade, and they said, oh, no, it's 580 West Everglade. But when he said 2 streets away from the neighbor, I thought, oh, yeah. Turns out that 580 West Everglade is right there, and this is the house because it matched the pictures. And that's over a mile away. So the dog over here sees the embers a mile away and runs over there and helps them out. That's a little weird, man. I mean, I'm not saying it's nefariously weird. It's just I don't get how the story developed the way it developed in the newspapers. A dog that ran wildly a mile. And by the way, are you a neighbor if you're a mile away? I think neighbors are people that live, within 10 houses of you or something. Not a mile away. That is ludicrous. So I don't know what's going on with that part of the story. Thank you again, Leon Littlejohn. All right. Well, I think we've got pretty much all the information that we need, or not that we need, that we have available so far, plus some of the rumors that are going on out there. Cindy J brought up the drug angle, and then there's other ones where maybe he assaulted some young girls or something. That's out there. There's, I'm sure there's other ones. It's hard to know for certain anything, especially when you're on Facebook, because which one of those is true, what I just said? There's like 3 or 4 different stories out there. And so, obviously they aren't all true. The Hamburglar, wow. That's crazy. I wonder why they quit those things, like the Hamburglar. It's just, you don't want to tell kids it's okay to be a burglar, even if it's just a Hamburglar. You guys, we need to quit having the Hamburglar. Oh, man, those are just, they were funny. People just, people just take things too seriously these days, It's ridiculous. Let's see, tunnels under. Oh, tunnels. There we go. Don't forget the tunnels. The clown will tell you all about the tunnels. They'll probably come up with tunnels in this case. Yeah. Well, I don't have much. You guys want to go? How about we do this for fun? So it's not related to this, but we can go through some of the comments underneath. Lisa Valenzuela was having some fun over there. I can tell you that. Let's see what the comments were underneath the video that I made. That video did pretty good. That video, the one I put out yesterday, has, hold on, 34,000 views. Pretty decent, I guess the actual numbers is 35,000 300 so far. Pretty good. I wish if I could get every video to have the same number of views, I'd be doing pretty well. I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, I mean, the super chats would just be like, yes, now we can have this great month. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's good. Great video. Love being able to see your videos of the route when the house was still there. It's great to have a first-hand account. Yep, super creepy. So I'm not a free Brian Koberger person, but I do have some questions. So I was going to go over the time frame. I thought to myself, I know who probably has all this, and looky here, still have some questions. I don't have time to run through all your videos to see if you've answered. If anyone else had the same, I'm sorry. Can you see Brian Koberger's car, or are they just headlights? Yes, you can see his car. Well, a white Elantra matching his vehicle, missing his front license plate, just like his. If Xana had called for DoorDash, what were they driving? Well, it wasn't a white Elantra. A, were there any other orders in the area for food deliveries? Did anyone take, well, who cares? Did anyone take any account that the residence was once queen and not king, and in maps it doesn't show, hence possible confusion, and said deliveries drive? Oh my god, that's just so overthinking. Is there an issue with gathering evidence without a warrant? Collecting garbage? No, there is not. Several agents going through crime scene, but none of them went through the trash cans. Odd, don't you think? How do we know that? Anyways, yeah. So that is a pro burger. Okay. Let's see. Grant Hughes investigates same shit again and again. Like found new video, new message, new picture, etc. Seeing this circus from last year, 3 years from all you. Did you Jack D get home? He had an Elantra. Oh my god. This guy is never going to get a fair trial. Ooh, poor Koberger. I feel so bad for Koberger. What about you? Great video once again. Thanks for spending so much time analysis and documenting this. If I were on the jury and trying to follow their video evidence, I would want to see side by side. On, say, the left side, a dash cam recording. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I try to do. But how do you explain all the other videos of guys and the men's voices and the guy getting picked up who dumped the items in the dumpster? What a load of crap. I thought it was he was looking in the dumpster for something. But how do you explain all the other videos of guys as they repeated themselves? What do you think of the other DNA found at the crime scene? Blood on banister. What did I say? Lots of parties have been in that house. Blood and dropped gloves aren't usually left behind at parties. Well, the blood is left at a lot of parties. And the glove thing, I don't know what the hell that glove thing is. There's a YouTuber who's a little fudgy, something going on there, okay? My thing is you can't pro se or whatever it's saying. It's even his car by a missing plate. Oh wait, you can't prove is what they meant to type. My thing is you can't prove it's even his car by a missing plate, let alone prove he was driving it. Well, you can when you realize that the white Elantra 2014 or 15, missing its front license plate, was parked while the DNA was found on a knife sheath inside. You know, at the same time that that car was parked there, a knife sheath was deposited during the killings that had his DNA on it. Therefore, if you believe that that's not his white Elantra at that point, then you're nuts, okay? I mean, you are not being reasonable. This person just keeps going on and on and on. I think Lisa responds all the time. I mean, look at this one. Gray, why don't you ask your source why the DNA under the victim's nails was never... What do you mean my source? This is in the documents. While the DNA under the victim's nails was never ran. Well, they were. And it was all inconclusive, and they're not even using it at trial. So you're supposed to believe lights and shadows? It's him? What are you talking about? What lights and shadows? This is the most bullshit case I've ever seen. This person looks like they're looking for an address, like a DoorDash, looking for an address. Really? So the person keeps driving around 4 times behind the residence and 500 Queen Road looking for an address? Why would you drive by again if you'd already looked there once? Let's see. I don't think either piece of evidence is more important than the other. Or meaning, they're talking about the DNA on the knife sheath and the white Elantra. They think they're equally important. I mean, I can see that. My question was, which one without could you make a better case for? Anyways, suspect vehicle, in my opinion, is a Chrysler 200. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Back to that again. That was the clown. The clown brought that one up a long time ago. Have these residents any privacy from all that traffic? Hypothetically speaking, if he want to buy drugs from the Bailey residence or somewhere back off on Ridge Road, is there more than one entrance and exit that would make sense to go that way? Man, what in the hell are you talking about? This is see, here's the thing. You know, when you're reading these comments, you realize how misguided so many people watching on YouTube have been, and they have all I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. It's crazy. I mean, it literally is, it's insane. While I lean towards his innocence, generally, I still thank you for this video because it's super informative. I love how you have all the little lines that you show us, which angles you should see. Well, thank you for that. It's just amazing that you think he's innocent. It's scary. Have thought that 1112 residence was way too happy after this. What the hell are you talking about? Where is all the blood? Well, I said, in the house. DNA doesn't lie, just saying. Amazing work. I like your comment. Koberger was circling them like a shark. The prosecution should use that. So you are still doing your videos as if BK really did it. Your channel has a wrong name because it has nothing to do with investigation if you are still in the exact same place as mass media. Sad. Oh, God. It's sad. Then there's people that comment. It's sad that you're getting emotional over a YouTube video. And then it's not about video, but belief, common sense, intelligence, and actual investigation being spread, which is false. Your brain has malfunctioned. For that, I am sorry. See, Gray, that's why I don't like you. You're so mean. Can't prove BK was in the white car. Oh, Jesus. Yes, you can. The DNA was left on the knife sheath at the bed during the same window that the car was outside. And it was missing a front license plate. And the movements of the car when his phone is on match the ping information with video. Love you too, Leon Littlejohn. Let's see. I'm not giving that dork, Brian, that much credit. You don't just learn to be better than a Navy SEAL with a knife without tons of training. Oh, I see. Right. So you're saying that somebody that is absolutely sober, jacked up, couldn't take a K-bar knife sheath and kill 4 drunk college students at 4 a.m. Okay, I see. Wow, he's better than a Navy SEAL of training, then cleanup. And it's so weird how the Proberger people don't understand the cleanup part. He wrote a freaking paper on it. He explained how to not contaminate a crime scene. The guy is and he's a criminology doctoral student, for God's sakes. His goose is cooked. Interesting how poorly lit those roads are at night. Hey, thanks, my father's alibi. Wow, that's so kind. Any news? I was checking in on your chat the other day, your little videos. Keeps sounding like it's sort of moving in the right direction. How do you know it was Kohberger? Well, his name is... Look at... Oh, see, they fixed it. Right. Hold on. Yeah, look at how they typed up there. How do you know it was Kohlberger? K-O-H-L Burger. Well, his name is Kohberger, not Kohlberger. I have explained why and how it's unreasonable to believe Kohberger isn't the killer. Let's see. Creepy and sick. That house was easy picking for a sicko. So let's see. So I counted 11 white cars along your little route that you took. Okay, white cars. And since there's not any clear footage of the vehicle in question except for one still frame picture, it's reasonable to say that. Anyhow, of them cars could be one of them white cars. Right. However, yeah, but I was there, 1.5 year, let's see, almost, what was it? No, it was a year after. So what relevance does my video in terms of white cars mean? It's just, God, these people, unbelievable. Hey, thanks, Leon Littlejohn, again. Doing well. So what any updates? Those minutes that are missing when the car is unseen or stopped for a minute, that's because he's dropping off the killer. Okay. Right, and then he kept circling more? God, these people. So the car stops, and then he's dropping off the killer, and then he drives around a whole bunch more times, then he stops again. What does he pick up the killer that time again, and then he drives around again, and then... who thinks BK took a complete change of clothes with him and changed outside? Yeah, we've said that a million times. Blood spatter mitigation outside the vehicle. Anyone who thinks Kohberger is innocent is seriously low IQ. And let's see. There are millions who follow the YouTube creators that spin conspiracy theorists that rouse the people that want him to be innocent. Another comment that won't age well. See, this person thinks that this comment won't age well. Anyone who thinks Kohberger is innocent is seriously low IQ. That will age well. It doesn't really mean that you have a low IQ if you think Kohberger is innocent. It just means your brain is malfunctioning. Okay. Let me know what you think about this, Grant Hughes. And I said, about what? I made the video. I said what I think. I made the video. I said what I think. Give me my 20 minutes back. I said, Hey, losers, it was 30 minutes. Is that how you usually talk to your subscribers? Now I understand what others say about you. See, you know what's amazing about this? This person types in, give me my 20 minutes back. And then this one says, same. This sucked. And then I say, hey, losers, it was 30 minutes. And then this person goes, is that how you... I don't want these people as subscribers up here. Okay, let me ask you guys something. Would you want subscribers who, in your comment section, type in, give me my 20 minutes back? You see how ludicrous these idiots are? Especially this brown... well, look at the name. That's exactly what you are, man. Let's see. I think perhaps maybe you could have perhaps maybe had a few more perhaps and maybe in your presentation. I don't know. Did I say perhaps too many times? Perhaps you shouldn't watch my channel. I don't care. Lucery, you're brilliant. Wow, thank you. I got a question to ask. Is this a comedy show? Because your investigative skills are hilarious. But sadly, and not as funny, is your lack of evidence you require to convict someone to be put to death. You're scary individual. We can only hope that you never get jury duty ever. And then somebody typed in, go watch your conspiracy creators then. We don't need idiots trying to crash creators that actually have common sense. Get a grip or don't watch. What are you going... Yeah, see, these people get it right here. This is just going over one tiny tidbit of the investigation. Yeah, but it's not even that. I mean, the part in this video, I've already gone over all the other stuff before. You have muddled for a year in this BS. The connection between Koberger, spelled with a C, Oberger, and the Harlem House, what Harlem House, was never proven. The digital print that he could have watched, followed, gotten, seduced, followed, blah, 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 was never made, right? And then I said, here's how idiotic pro-burgers are. They can't even spell the name of the person they are defending correctly. It's just ridiculous. Have you ever noticed that, you guys? They're the ones that say Xana with a Z. It's really pretty startling. It seems to me the only stargazing he was doing that night was casing the joint to extinguish the light of those poor precious stars. I never realized Sigma Chi was X Ethan and Xana. Don't know what that means. Did that or could that mean something? What are you talking about? No, it means nothing. I don't even know what you're saying. Great work, thank you. What are those two parallel white structures next to the house? I don't know. Who cares? I was there when you were in Moscow. I'm a resident. I appreciate this footage. You are fake. The way you continue to push false information shows you are involved in promoting guilty with lies. The court docs prove you lie. They don't at all. We've gone over the court documents on the show, every single one of them. Another idiot shows up. Imagine that. And there's that brown stain thing again. Who are you to tell her to move on? She has a right to her own opinion. Sounds like you... Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this person. All right, good luck. I love things that help visually tell the story. Found new footage of cars, lights that have been out for years? No, dummy. Pay attention. His footage that Gray took when he was out there, right. I found it in my folder of videos that I took. Great video. I still don't understand the Linda Lane video. I'm trying to figure out how people don't understand that one. You know, that's wild. I can't explain it any better, you know. That's just, I mean, the Linda Lane stuff, I mean, I can't even tell you how many videos I've made just showing that. What a doofus. Did he really think there weren't cameras? It's a white Elantra missing front plates with no sunroof, and it's documented on camera from the time he leaves his apartment at WSU campus. Then magically a white Elantra missing front plates and no sunroof is captured nearly 30 times within a mile of the house on 9 different cameras in 1 hour time period. He drove his car, he left the sheath, his DNA, his purchase history, 2 surviving eyewitnesses, then searched Moscow murders before 911 call. We think he did. Did I mention? Yeah, so that person understands it. Lisa Valenzuela jumps in there with a comment. Oh my God, Brian Koberger did not do it. He did indeed do it, Lisa said. Oh my God, stop yelling at us with all caps. By the way, if you pro-burgers want to whine, then provide solid evidence. Hey, it's cool to have other people that see this for what it is, you know. The knife sheath left at the scene with DNA to the state is obvious. I appreciate the showing of the very many times it took Brian Kober coming and going. This clearly shows everything was calculated in Brian's mind. I wonder if anyone checked that blue shed or little blue house behind. For what? You are speaking like this is facts when it's actually all assumptions. I just wonder if all the strange stuff, lack of testing, no true, undeniable truth, secrets, lies. What in the hell? Like, look at this person just went on and on and on and on. Anyways. Yeah, it's just, that's what I have to deal with, you know. And there's just, you know, negative comments, good comments. Yeah, it is what it is. But it's just interesting, right? I try to just be as factual as possible. That's it. And I try to speculate using the facts so that your speculation is based on evidence, not just, hey, what do you think about the blue house right there? So, there you go. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for me tonight, you guys. We'll keep following the CalebQuick case, and we'll see what happens in there. Hopefully some more information comes out. But it will be interesting to find out what really happened. Oh, there goes my stomach. All right, well, thank you to Leon Littlejohn, then Jim Lawn, Leon Littlejohn again, then Richard Watts, M10, then Cheryl Moran. And then Cheryl Moran gifted 20 memberships. I mean, that's just incredible. Thank you. And then Amber L. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted another membership. Up above, he did 5. Then Leon Littlejohn again for 5. And then Forgetful Mandy gifted 5 memberships. Then M10. Then Phyllis Watson gifted a membership. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted 5. Then I gifted 5 myself. Then Phyllis Watson, Heather N., 8 months. Thank you so much. Then Rainy Joe. Then we had Lanky Tor gifted 5. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted a membership. Then Cheryl Moran gifted 10. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted 5. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted a membership. Then My Father's Alibi gifted 10. And then Leon Littlejohn gifted 5 again. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I mean, it's so generous, and you know, would have been a absolutely not a good night at all without the generosity of you know, the people that supported the channel tonight. So just wouldn't have been that good. For Fox's sakes, Fox. I said Fox, YouTube. You definitely have more patience. Yeah, well, I don't comment nicely. I almost always say your brain is malfunction. Your brain is malfunction. Your brain has to malfunction in the Idaho 4 case if you think Hoberger didn't do it. Unfortunately, in this case, that's huge. I'd say over 50% of the YouTube people, well, I don't know. I think just the vocal minority seems bigger. But I think it's a huge number of people, though. Like in the thousands that think, oh, he didn't do it because of the unethical behavior of YouTubers. Yeah, slow burgers. That sounds like a pretty good way to say it. So we got that, and then also over here we had, I think, Allison on Venmo, and then Lisa Valenzuela and Mary T on the Buy Me a Coffee. They won't like my response. Yeah. Well, nice try, trolls. Nice try. See, I told you guys do exactly what I told you. You guys call up people who support my channel because you're nuts. And what I would do is I'd actually report. When you get these phone calls, you should actually call in, I don't know, do a report somewhere. I don't know if it's a police report or whatever, because it's just, these people are crazy. Yeah. So, how are you feeling today, though? Did you actually get a concussion, like your Leon Littlejohn? Did you get an actual concussion where, I've had a concussion. Well, I've had a couple concussions, like when I was a kid. And then one time in college, I was riding my bike, and my front tire of my bike slipped on a manhole, and my face just bang right into the ground. And I didn't know where the hell I was. It's so weird. I can actually remember the whole thing now. It's weird, but I was just like, why am I here? What am I doing here? And they sort of walked me all the way back. My friend walked me all the way down this road to a hospital. And then I don't know, I think I went home later, but it's kind of a weird feeling. Have any of you guys ever just smashed your head into a pole or something? I know you do it every night when I'm doing my show out of anger. Like, oh my God! But is Ruckus one of your pets? My dad won't discuss it with me until after the trial, but he said, isn't Brian Koberger the guy who left his DNA there in a sheath? Why won't he discuss it with you? I don't understand. Like, why not? No, it's your son. Oh, cool. Nice. They let you keep your dog after, did you he was your trained dog. What kind of a dog was he in the military? Was he like a rescue type or a bomb sniffer, or what was he? I don't know all the different types, but I know they do different things. Some of them are like combat. Man, there's some crazy videos online. It's like usually that, what's that name of that dog? The was it a Malamute or something? I can't remember the name of it. No, that's not the one. I forgot the name of it. But there's all these guys in Europe that have these. They look like a German Shepherd, but they're a little thinner. Well, you see them in U.S. military too. Oh yeah, it's the Malinois, not Malamute. It's a Belgian Malinois. Those dogs are nuts, man. Those things are. I mean, you guys gotta watch those videos on YouTube with those things. They run up a wall, then jump 40 feet over here, grab onto something. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, Ruckus is a pug. I thought you said it was a service dog. So it's just like a therapy dog? Is that what you're saying? I see. I was going to say, I can't really see I just realized that Ruckus is the pug that's in your picture. Now that would be a sight, man. the battle pug. It's running around. Just picture a pug. Pugs are the most unaggressive dog on the planet, man. They just kind of, hey, what's going on? Yeah. They're like, I always look at pugs as they're so ugly that they're cute, you know? Like they're cute because of what they look like. It's weird. I've always thought that. I've wanted to have a pug. But once I got that Chihuahua blue, you know, my first Chihuahua, I was like, oh yeah. And so now I like them. Benny's kind of weird though. I like Clancy a lot, but Benny's just so, you know, like, ooh. I kind of wonder about the owner, you know, the way that Benny is. And Benny's just so Clancy oriented. Like every second of every day, where's Clancy? And as soon as they get it, just runs and runs and follows and follows and follows. And doesn't really like people that much, but loves Clancy. Yeah, Benny looks cool, but he isn't really the greatest dog yet. I don't know. Maybe over time he'll turn into a little bit more friendly, but he's just, you know, it's hard to explain. Like when you go to their little pen, you know, and you try to, like, he'll kind of jump up like this, and as soon as you reach down, he flies over into the corner. It's weird. Where Clancy just goes woo and just lets you pick him right up. So you almost have to trap him, put a hand out over here, and then he'll kind of curl up in a ball in the corner, and then you pick him up. Sounds like Benny may have been littermate syndrome. Oh, what does that mean? Yeah, well, they were 1 month apart. Yeah, they were 1 month apart in the same place. So they were like two peas in a pod, you know. Just close in age. So what is littermate syndrome? I bet it's like clingy kind of behavior. Is that? Littermate syndrome refers to behavior issues that can arise when puppies raised together become overly reliant on each other, hindering their ability to bond with humans and develop healthy. I think that's exactly what he's got. It's not an official medical diagnosis, but a term used by trainers and owners to describe the negative consequences of raising littermates in close proximity. I think that is exactly what that is. Well, thank you. Now at least there's some sort of a... Separate the puppies. Separate the puppies. Yeah, they were never separated. Those two are just, you know, that's wild. And you know what's interesting about it though? When Clancy was in the surgery, Benny was totally normal. Like just sitting there, blah, blah, blah. And then Clancy's totally normal when he's by himself. But when you put them together, that's when they have this weird sort of situation. Okay. What are symptoms of littermate syndrome? Fearfulness of unfamiliar people, dogs, and other novel stimuli. Intense anxiety when, yeah, so he does like whine, but after a while when Clancy's not around, he's okay, but right at first it's like, like really difficulty learning basic obedience skills. And the fourth, constant fighting with those two fight all the time. The puppies want to play with each other constantly. Yes. God, that's exactly what it is. Man, you nailed it, Moofies. Absolutely nailed that. No doubt about it. That's 100%. Is there a way to, like, how to combat litter mate syndrome? To combat litter mate syndrome, focus on promoting individual independence and socialization. This involves separating puppies for activities like training, walks, playtime, and feeding. You know what? I think we should put them in their own crates for now. I actually believe in, like, do the crate thing at night, and they just sleep in there, and you open the morning, they come out and play and run around, do whatever they're going to do. But we have them in that bin for now because both of them are male dogs that Clancy's been neutered now. And Benny will be next, but they just mark everything. I'm not going to have one of those houses that's like pee all over everything. You can forget that. Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, so I see what you're saying. I think that's what I got to do. I don't know if it's permanent. It's never really permanent, right? It's crazy. All right. Well, at least there's an answer there. Litter mate syndrome. Really, that's amazing. All right, it's kind of late. I know some of you probably already went to sleep. So thanks again out there. Special thanks to, again, we got to give special thanks to Leon Littlejohn and Cheryl Moran for the membership giftings, etc. And thanks everybody else who helped support the channel tonight. Makes a difference. And we'll just see how we're doing. We're starting the month off pretty good. And we'll see how it goes throughout the month. And it was fun, doing the show tonight. And I hope you don't, I'm glad you didn't get hurt badly, Leon Littlejohn. Sounds like you got knocked out, but you're right back up on your feet. So thank you. I'm glad, and thank you for your support. All right, so we'll keep looking into this case. And obviously we'll keep doing the Idaho 4. I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm just going to keep putting out reality. And hopefully a few people here and there see the light of day. And, I think it's just important to do. So thanks again, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there, freaks. What about everybody else, Gray? I'm not a freak. So why did you just say... shut the hell up. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
We are all Richard Allen!
I'm not a big fan of his brain.
All right, see you guys.